Tell me we get what is up. Oh, we get this up. And we're down. We're down. So we're down.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Delta Airlines Flight 2998 bound for Atlanta, Georgia, with continued service to Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. All carry-on items should now be stowed securely, either in an overhead bin or under the seat in front of you.
We live?
No.
Yes.
Yo, welcome to its-up-there-podcast. I am your active and attractive host for another episode of the fastest growing podcast on the market right now. If you are listening, head over to Pateron.com if you want to view the whole video. It's www.pateron.com/its-up-there-podcast. We'll get right into the show. Welcome to the new listeners. Shout out to everybody that's been sharing my stuff everywhere, all these platforms. It's the engagement is up in a way that we should be proud of. See, it's one thing to think you doing this and that, and think you are powerful in the space, and think that you may have an opportunity, and then it's another thing for the community to respond to you a certain way. And so I'm just dealing with the response of the community. Take years for niggas to understand the things that the game has to offer, but some kind of way I'm able to put it in a way that is more digestible for the people that's listening and viewing me on a daily and a weekly basis. Hold on, before we go any further, I got to announce that Will Smith just smacked Chris Rock live at the Oscars on national television. There's no way I could have waited to next week, because I know that by next week it won't be as fresh of a topic for me, so I want to add this into the podcast. So right now we are dealing with Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. Let's see what happened.
He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please, Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard.
Whoa. And that, ladies and gentlemen, just changed perspective. That just changed white folks' perspective right there. Let's see that again. Oh, wow. He said, oh, wow. He said, oh, wow, man. What kind of beta mess? That's what I say, man. And I understand both sides, right? So let me, bring this back in some, because I do know that I do got to communicate with a certain level of consistency, right? So people do, it's cool. So I got to address both sides. I understand comedy, a joke is a joke, but I also understand frustration and the tipping point and the straw that broke the camel's back and all them other sayings that go on the other side of that. But when I say this just changed perspective, because see, one thing about black people, we know you don't play about the wife and the money. You understand me? And so for me, white people now get to view this and see Will Smith interact the way that we understand to interact on certain things. Certain things call for certain reactions, and that don't matter the outcome of those things, right? And so you're not going to continue to drill me. Let's look at that again, though.
He is praying praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please, Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Yes, sir. And we don't condone
just smacked the
violence.
shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
And that's a complete
It was
sentence.
a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
I bet you will.
Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Now that right there, ladies and gentlemen, shifted culture. I do feel that Chris Rock is in an unfortunate situation to be a trophy of sorts, right? What you experienced in that moment is how the metaverse is starting to affect reality. See, because what they do on the internet and what we do. See, because again, I think culture is just different on the other side, especially dealing with comedy. Comedy is comedy for them, right? And I'm a fan of Joe Rogan, a fan of Bert, a fan of Tom. So I get it. You can joke on some of the craziest things on that side of the street. But for black people, you don't talk about black people, and especially their wife. And he tried to laugh it off, but I seen Jada and she looked away. And she probably looked away and see when you've been married and around somebody for so long, a look tell you everything, right? So you look at your wife and then you get a certain look and here it is. You know, you got to deal with how I'm going to feel about how you just done that. And the internet is such a weird place that it makes me think like, yo, look what you niggas do, man. Look what y'all do. First, it's a hashtag. What about the protect black women hashtag? What about the protect black women hashtag? Don't nobody scream at no more. That didn't mean nothing in that moment. You understand me? Now, do I think that, see, when you public with the disrespect, I got to be public with the addressing of it. They hashtag all around protect black women. And then this is this man's wife in that moment. And she probably been tired of getting, don't make my disease the butt of your joke, my boy. And the white's gonna come out. I know they is and say, yo, it's a joke. It's comedy. But he done had enough of the jokes. Yeah, enough of the jokes. Yeah, enough of the laughing at my expense. And I'm on my protect black women vibes. This black woman in particular, this my black woman. We together, we're a union. This my family. I gotta protect this one. So for whatever that's worth, I gotta figure out how to do that. And in that moment, I know I can't talk to you dudes behind the scenes. You dudes don't. I probably done already made it clear. Don't do that. Cause what all have they said about Will online? They bring up the August thing, everything Jada do. I told y'all what they did. Once again, it's about Jada. Ain't no mustard on dude jacket from nowhere. Everything he done had to do done came on behalf of Jada. In regards to even invoking that kind of emotion, it done came on behalf of his wife. And that's what it calls for, that level of attention when it's someone that you've committed the rest of your life to. And so when we approach the protect black women thing, white people and other people gonna have to excuse us as we readjust how people have positioned black women. You're gonna have to just excuse us, right? Some of our approach to it may be odd, it may be unconventional, because we don't know how to fix it, but we know it need to be fixed. We know certain things need to be off limits, certain things, right? So in regards to whatever, if you see me make a joke about her, right, then it's clear that me and her, that's my wife. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? You can't do that, bro. You just can't. I don't think you can do that. Especially in the climate that Will is in. He trying to get out of that vibe. right? And I done had enough, and here it is. And now you? Now hold up, man. Now the rappers, they getting it off. The rap dudes, I smack one of the rap dudes, it's gonna be a for show violence. But now they got you up here saying something. Yeah, this got to stop today. Yeah, this got to stop today. We put an end to it. You understand? But again, white people and other people in the culture, other people in the world watching, I think, again, it shifted culture because now white people got to ask, or people that's not of the culture got to ask, why would he take such a brass, why would he make such a brass decision and smack him on live television? In the black community is overstood. You understand? The black community is overstood, right? But then you got to factor in jokes, comedy, all these things. And the fact that Will's made a lot of money off, acting and being in this kind of metaverse, right? In regards to putting movies out where he's died or shot or jumping off buildings. So he's activated those characters, right? Will Smith and Jada, they've been activated in the metaverse. And so people think they're attacking the metaverse, but now you talking about her disease. So then that's a whole different thing. And if that's my wife, I got to deal with that. And I don't know if I can wait to the end of it. I'm going to try everything I can to wait to the end of it. But this the 14th time that I done had to say, don't do that. And then I just look over at her and she got the match. You understand? I got a stem hanging out my head in regard to I'm a firecracker. You understand? And she got a match. So if I look over and you done really offended my wife or the woman I love, you done went. We got to handle it activates something in him. He got up and he smacked him. Comedians, right? They operate in a space where you don't really have to have no nuts to be saying what you're saying. Long as it's funny, we accept it. In the black community, if you're gonna be calling out rappers and saying certain things in your comedy, you gotta have a certain kind of fight game about you. You can't be in our culture operating with no, tripping over your own feet and then making jokes about people, wives and children. Now, if he was up there with a squabble game, if running up there smacking him is for sure gonna get down right here, he might have still done it, because again, I think it activates a certain courage when you deal with the people you love, no matter what. So I believe that. But at the end of the day, I think that he would have been in a situation where it would have been some violence right then. You see what I'm saying? But I think white people will allow you to not be tough. And so for a black dude, if you up there saying certain jokes that's offensive to people, you better be tough. You better be tough. You see what Mike Tyson had to go through the other day? Dude pulled a gun out on him. He up there trying to do a little set or whatever he doing on stage. Like in the black community, if you kicking that tough shit, niggas is gonna see if you tough. That's just how they go. And then you doing it in my face, man. Like that mean you just totally disrespected me. So you dealing with a dude that's been publicly humiliated, right? Dude's been trying to use his wife as an example of what not to do in a marriage in regards to respecting your husband. You see what I'm saying? And man, I know that the level of scrutiny he's been under, he done got sick of it. So we finna change that. I done asked the publicist, how do you change it? What do? We been quiet. What can we do to change the image? Because I ain't done nothing. It's just my wife, and they been trying to get at her, but I love her, so I'm riding with her thick and thin. Ain't no smut on my jacket. I ain't done nothing about none, been in none ever. Everything been about her, and it's gonna continue to be about her, because this who I said my life partner is. So I asked the publicist, how do we clean it up? How do we stop this from being a thing? They don't know. They done tried. I done paid. They done tried. So now here we is, ain't been in nothing. Here we is, I done came out saying ain't been no cheating in my marriage. I just done that the other week. I'm steady cleaning this up what my wife done. I'm steady coming through with certain things, trying to clean it up. She done kind of said certain things, so I'm cleaning it up. Here comes some nigga on stage about what my wife alopecia look like. He got to be the toughest nigga in America that just done that. Sometimes I get a phone call about what niggas done, And I think to myself, boy, we dealing with the toughest nigga in America. He just did that. You mean tell me he did what? He said a joke about her disease, something she can't help in front of her husband. Boy, show me that nigga. I know he's 6'8", 350 pounds, built like an action figure. I know that's a big nigga you finna bring out. And it's Chris Rock? Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. We ain't never gonna let Chris Rock get it. You feel me? So guess what? I'm finna change this. And nobody probably, I wouldn't have anybody ever done that in his face like that. Anything about her disease like that. You know, on the internet will find it if so. But he took his speech. Let's see what he said.
By what God is calling on me to do and be in this world. Oh, man.
And before we do that, let me say this too. Congratulations on Best Lead Actor. I don't want to get sidetracked from the public scuffle or anything. So I want to just say congratulations on Lead Actor. Chris Rock, in the clips I saw, you did a pretty good job in regards to hosting the event. I think comedy operates on that thin line where it's offensive or not offensive.
Richard Williams was a fierce defender of his family. In this time in my life, in this moment, I am overwhelmed by what God is calling on me to do and be in this world. Making this film, I got to protect Ingenue Ellis, who was one of the strongest, most delicate people I've ever met. I got to protect Sanaya and Demi, the two actresses that played Venus and Serena. I'm being called on in my life to love people and to protect people and to be a river to my people.
As I told you, it's nothing he's done that has him in these circumstances.
To do what we do, you got to be able to take abuse. You got to be able to have people talk crazy about you. In this business, you got to be able to have people disrespecting you. And you got to smile and you got to pretend like that's okay. But Richard Williams, and what I loved, thank you, D. Denzel said to me a few minutes ago, he said, at your highest moment, be careful, that's when the devil comes for you.
So that Denzel, big game giver Denzel Washington, ladies and gentlemen, big game giver. Nigga know he dealing with information.
It's like, I want to be a vessel for love. I want to say thank you to Venus and Serena. I just spit. I hope they didn't see that on TV. I want to say thank you to Venus and Serena and the entire Williams family for entrusting me with your story. That's what I want to do. I want to be an ambassador of that kind of love and care and concern. I want to apologize to the Academy. I want to apologize to all my fellow nominees. This is a beautiful moment, and I'm not crying.
You got to check on Will
for winning an award. It's not about winning an award for me. It's about being able to shine light on all of the people, Tim and Trevor and Zach and Sanaya and Demi and Ingenue and the entire cast and crew of King Richard and Venus and Serena, the entire Williams family. Art imitates life. I look like the crazy father, just like they said. I look like crazy father, just like they said about Richard Williams. But love will make you do crazy things.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's Jada peeking on screen.
To my mother, a lot of this moment is really complicated for me, but to my mother, she didn't want to come out. She's had her knitting friends. She has a knitting crew that she's in Philly watching with. Being able to love and care for my mother and my family, my wife. I'm taking up too much time. Thank you for this honor. Thank you for this moment, and thank you on behalf of Richard and Oracene, the entire Williams family. Thank you. Hope the Academy invites me back. Thank you.
That dude is tired, bro. Them ain't none of that dude battles. That nigga ain't had no problem. Say that man ain't had no problems, man. You heard what he said. He said that he basically said what I just said, and I haven't even saw these things, right? I'm just plugging this in the podcast. But he said what I basically said, yo, he come to protect. That's what he does. He come to protect. He never said, yo, I got myself in this and got to do my best at getting out. It's like, yo, they're attacking her now. I don't care what she said about what we do in our private life. You're not gonna attack her disease. He just done had enough. And I know he know, man, what that just put at risk or the gamble that was. He didn't know in that moment or care in that moment. But after that, I know he's digesting like, yo, that was just a moment. It aligned our culture. Our culture is aligned with not publicly embarrassing and all of that, because I know that side of the media is gonna come about the public embarrassment and this and that and that and this. But I would always tell them to reference #protect black women. And I think the lines become blurred because now the things that happen in the metaverse are affecting the universe. You see what I'm saying? So we got to dance in between those, and Will just is, feel like he under attack for things he ain't even contributed to. You understand? And hey, I feel him. And so we'll probably talk about it next week from a different standpoint, but it literally just happened right now. So I wanted to plug this in. Let's get to the rest of the show. Of course, when you're dealing with me, I watch a lot of things, right? So this week I've been watching interviews because I got a big interview coming up with some relationship kind of people, right? So I've been kind of watching interviews with people who are big in that space, the gurus in that space. And I was interested in something, because every time I see some of these guys, and for me, communication is so important. So I don't just listen to people and say, yo, they're just talking. I listen to how they're crafting it up, right? Because words are important, and understanding those words are even more important than that, right? So when they're talking, I'm listening to them and I'm trying to figure out, okay, where he going with this and how he's crafting it up. And what I'm noticing with a lot of those relationship people is, and you guys tell me what you think, but what I'm noticing is that they don't call their wife, right? they call her by her name. Let's just say her name's Nikki. And Nikki's my wife, and Nikki's beautiful, and she's a millionaire. Nikki's a kind of girl that'll blow your mind in every sense of the word, right? And Nikki's one of the things that he worked hard, in his opinion, to obtain. When he speaks about her, right? So let's say he's in a conversation. All of them do this. And I think they're doing that because maybe there's a possession kind of connotation attached to saying my wife. Because see, where I'm from, you got women that they don't even call they dude by their name. That's my man, my husband, my man, my dude, my man, my husband. That's how they don't say Terrell or Alex or Todd or Jason. They don't say that. They say my man or my husband, my dude. Right? So when I'm listening to them talk and they say, well, me and Terrell or me and Tamika or me and Todd was, working so hard at trying to, sometimes I'm lost. I'm like, who's Nikki? By the context of the conversation, I'm able to put together that he's talking about his wife. And I'm like, oh, so he didn't say my wife. And I'm just wondering, what is that about? Do women feel like that comes off as possessive? If you say my wife or my husband, like that was just interesting to me. And I wanted to run that across y'all before we get into the show. The first thing we're going to get into today, though, is T.I. T.I. sat with No Jumper. And he said a few things. Shout out No Jumper. Again, when you know certain things about the space, you view it in a certain way, right? So I imagine T.I. to be approached with certain deals and approached with certain opportunities that makes him privy to kind of how the business works. And he said some disparaging things about his experience with podcasting, and he can definitely have that. And I just want to come and examine what it's like to be in this space, and how it feels. But before we get to that, he also said something, and we hear the same song from different artists, right? He said that he didn't own Family Hustle. Let's hear what he said on No Jumper.
I create something new. I don't see myself as much as a rapper than I do a builder of brands. Like I create IPs. You know what I mean? I build IPs and I leverage the success of those IPs for money. And I maintain ownership of those IPs. Except for Family Hustle. I fucked up on that one. They caught me slipping, so what?
Really?
Yeah. Viacom on that. That's cool though.
Yeah.
They caught me slipping.
They catch you slipping on that one.
Cause I was getting out of prison. You know what I mean? And for me, I didn't see it being so big. I saw it as like a commercial for people to see something other than the guy who went back to prison. So it was sort of like it was a image, a rebranding, representing of, you dig what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And once it worked like that, the deal was already kind of done. And I didn't see that one.
You didn't know you were going to still be thinking about it.
I didn't know I was still going to be thinking about it. Exactly. I had no way of fathoming what these young people and Tamika would put on screen to add to what I already had and kind of compensate for what I had missing. I never could have imagined that.
But
so they caught me slipping.
This is the number one thing I want to get your perspective on is like.
So as you hear him say that, and as we heard Steve Harvey on Earn Your Leisure last week speak about how America's Got Talent basically kind of got his idea, got him out of there, hired all the people from his first season and packaged that in a way where it was sellable. See, when you get further in this game, you say, oh, it ain't about talent. It's about how all this shit is packaged. It's about how it's packaged. What do you do for the game? Right? What do you add to the algorithm? Don't nobody care about how good you can talk, how many views you got. What do you add to the algorithm? Right? And then it becomes an ad conversation. Are you radioactive? What happens with that? Right? So all these things you gotta consider, but we hear some of our pioneers speak about not owning IP. See, I negotiate from a position of not wanting no money. No upfront money, right? And that's how you negotiate and own something. If you take a big chunk up front, like you hear a rapper say, I ain't dropping nothing else till I get the advance, he putting himself more and more in debt. This is why I like that earn your leisure slogan, or that slogan that comes from us or from our culture that earn your leisure has, right? Assets over liabilities. When you think about it, niggas will protect their liability and won't protect their assets. You got to protect your IP. You got to protect what it is that you call your business. What it is that keep your boat floating. You got to protect that. Nigga had they Bentley in the garage. Nigga have 14,000 spots to put cars at and won't do nothing to protect his assets. Nigga got all the insurance in the world on his house, ain't checked on his mental health. But see, it ain't on us. I think it's about we always searching for something that look pretty. Old new Bentley look beautiful outside. I better put insurance on this and Paul. Y'all don't let nobody drive. Get away from that. But the inside of yourself you can't see, so you just ignore your mental health. But we got to do a better job at protecting our assets, and that's why information is so important. That's why it's so important that I tap in every week as I try to learn stuff from some of the greatest minds that the culture has and abroad. Because, man, I'm going outside the culture to grab some of this information. Kick it with some of these people. I'm going outside the culture because I got to bring it back and spread the porridge out. You understand? And if you don't get that, you ain't one of mine. It's a rough space to be in because they say don't negotiate with need. But in that time, it's like, all right, what do you expect? I just not getting out of jail. I need these folks to look at me a certain way. Then it's probably a check attached to it because they paying me like a worker. You get paid up front. The workers get paid first. You see what I'm saying? The back end is where the bosses get paid. And ownership go with that. You see what I'm saying? So it's just about, can you hold on a little while? But the thing about me and information is I'm addicted to finding out how these things work, why they work that way, who's doing the right thing, who's not, who's talking like they big dogs, but they really ain't even getting no money out of this. And it's money in this. Dudes is showing you it's money in this. You understand me? But first of all, why you don't got it trademark? Like I had a guy right now, its-up-there-podcast popped up. So my lawyers reach out to me, yo, there's a its-up-there-podcast that just popped up. That's not me. I don't know what that is. We got to hit him with a cease and desist. Boom, he take it down. You know what I'm saying? But it's certain things you got to have your shit together in this business or it's going to get took from you. Just interesting to see some of the minds in the culture, right? And how we maneuver through it and what we get from it and how much we give to receive what on the front end and what comes from the back end, how we learn from each other. The information is no good if only one man has it, right? It's the reason they started to print books and encyclopedias, and is because the value is in how far the information can be spread. How many people can you affect with the information? Not that you the smartest and you got all the information. Every time I go around people, I go into Bluetooth mode. A lot of people don't even get this person at the podcast get of me. A lot of people don't get that because I'm not in that mode where I'm firing. I'm chilling most of the time. I'm cooling. I ain't doing. I'm just cooling now. Certain environments, like I was just in there with Parlay in the A the other day. Certain environments where it's just niggas and we just kicking it. I might go. I start going. Know what I'm saying? And giving game out. But other times I'm just chilling, man. And it's a different approach in it. Imagine an author writing a book and he kept it in his room. Yo, we need to receive that. Trust me, people gon' champion where they got the information from. Those that's running off and stealing information and acting like it's them, don't worry about them. They'll fall by the wayside soon. Those we don't worry about. But those that really putting real game and information out, people gonna champion where they got that at. They look at that a certain way. It's affecting them in a way where they want people to know about that. And so T.I. was also on No Jump, and he spoke about podcasting. You know, if anybody speak about podcasting, I'm coming to give some game about it. I want to speak about it because I'm in it. I'm on it. And the 7 on my hat stands for 7-figure deals or better. And I'm on the line with these guys that getting money out of this game. We getting money out of podcasting. There's money in podcasting if you do it all right. You know, but you got to know what you're doing and you got to know what you up against. But T.I. went on the No Jumper and said some things about his experience with podcasting. Let's listen to what he said.
It's infinite. Like, there's always a million different people to talk to and a million different things to talk about, and that's
like
really what settled me into it.
I didn't like podcast. Nah, I ain't like it. Really? I liked it for a week or 2.
Really?
Or 3.
I feel like everybody who does that.
But then when it became a job, like when motherfuckers like, hey, gotta read these ads, Hey, gotta be here at this time. Hey, you gotta, man, fuck all that. I ain't got. I'm talking about because I never received the spoils that came with it.
Right.
I ain't never get no money. How you see other motherfuckers like Charlemagne and you and Joe Rogan and Gilly and Wallow. I ain't never get that.
Right.
You know, it was just a bunch of motherfucking appointments. But I had great conversations and I met great people, and I feel like I enjoyed that part of it. I enjoyed it while I was doing it.
Yeah.
Like in the moment of it. But when I get the call, like, what? Man, ain't no money in that.
Right.
And I had other visions that I felt like I could be spending time.
Didn't I hear that T.I. got like the craziest podcasting contract? I think I remember talking to Ben Baller about how much promotion he was in. You didn't get some crazy contract?
I don't know what you mean. Like what crazy contract?
Well, you know, you hear about Joe Rogan getting $100 million from Spotify.
No, never happened. Never happened.
Okay.
I've gotten no more than tens of thousands of dollars.
Really?
Yes.
As a musician, the money seemed a little slow in comparison?
With the amount of work and exposure that came with it.
Yeah. I mean, think about somebody like Joe Budden. He's doing 6 hours a week, 2 different 3-hour episodes of him just talking to his friends. You love talking to your friends, but at a certain point, that's got to start feeling like a job, you know? I mean,
man,
you got to really love it to keep going.
I'm not saying I couldn't do it again or I wouldn't do it again. I would love to continue to have stimulating conversations with people that push the culture forward and that matter to the generation. That's not the part that I didn't like about it. I just, for one, I think if I did it again, it would be a panel. I think all of the best podcasts kind of have people bouncing ideas off of each other, like Drink Champs. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's just me and the guest, that's more like fucking 60 Minutes or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
It's a different thing. It's a different thing. That one-on-one, I'm going to dig into your brain,
I don't want to do that.
And just find out everything that makes you tick. I mean, that's a certain
That
thing.
was a very formal way, you know, when I think.
Be careful who you listen to when you're dealing with this amount of motherfucking money. All right? Be careful who you listen to when you're dealing with this amount of money. Now, first of all due respect to Adam, you sitting there saying that when you podcast more than almost anybody on the planet. That's number one. Number two, T.I.'s a brilliant mind. But it's interesting to me that there's one thing that he failed to mention. Number one, Charlemagne doesn't do podcasting that's leading the way. He's running a podcast network. That's a little different, right? With several contracts in motion. So that's a little more lucrative position to be in. And T.I. can definitely put himself in that position if he wanted to. But if we just rip that away and set that to the side and just speak to Charlemagne being paid for his podcast, and he's also does that, right? So now when we deal with the fruits of the labor, one thing that he failed to mention, especially when you deal with Wallow and Gilly, is a unique case. But our culture has that impact. I'm about to show you with It's Up There podcast, right? Once these things are directed through the right channels and the right conversations I had, put yourself in a situation to get with an ad, right? It's just a way to do it, and we're about to do it. But one thing that he failed to mention about all those people is there's years of podcasting involved in that. Rogan is 10, 11, 13, 12 years in. Right? Charlamagne been on radio 10, 12 years. Gil and Wallow are just, they're crushing it over there with Barstool. Barstool believes in them, stand behind them, and also they're there to give them the ads. They're giving them. See, this is another thing. You can get in an ad situation where they just don't give you ads. I look at academics sometimes and I listen to a show. I hear no ads. That says to me, you got a split there. I know this. I know how the business works. So if you got a split and your whole show goes by and there's no ads, that's a problem, because you get paid based on, right? When you see that billboard, that comes out of something. There's some marketing and shit happening that you are accounting for somewhere down the line, right? But when you listen to Rogan, you hear ad on top. When you listen to Rogan, you hear 10 ads you got to go through right quick. Then it'll play. Somewhere along the lines in there again, there's another 10 ads. Right? That's the split you want to be in. You want the company to really put you in the, if we going to play the ad game, let's really get me some ad reads and really get them in a situation where I'm making money. Because that's what looks like what Wallow and Gilly is doing. And then outside of that, they're doing a whole bunch of other things. And that's the blueprint of it. Joe Budden was able to move his fan base prior to the breakup, a lot of them on Pateron. So he gets a certain amount of income just based on that every month, which I think that's a good way to go about it as well from a video perspective. Drink Champs, they just crush it. The game wants to come to Drink Champs, like the legends, the people that do it. They want to come to Drink Champs. When you deal with big facts, the South want to come holler at them. They want to come sit with Baby J, Scream, and Bank. They want to come down there and give some game out. 85 South Show, killing it on the road. 3-4 different facets of the business, making a lot of money. Earn Your Leisure, killing it. Making a lot of money, 2 or 3 deals from one show. Spin off, get 19 keys, do this, that, and the third, right? It's dudes killing it. Andrew Schultz killing it. From a podcast, but killing it. But you got to know the game to know where the money at. I always say you can have as much dope as you want to. If you stand on the interstate, you're just going to be slow. But you got to go to where they buying dope. You got to know what they buying ads and what they doing with the podcast shit. And when I hear somebody like T.I. say something like that, it lets me know he didn't have the information of what to do with his celebrity in that space. And it became frustrating. Right? What y'all doing with my brand and my name, you heard him speak about the exposure. That means that I'm being seen and heard a lot. And I'm not sure I'm being paid like the rate of travel. But also when I'm dealing with T.I. thing like, all right, you been rich for a long time and we dealing with tired legs. Everybody say, yo, let's make it up the mountain, man. You got to make it up the mountain, then stand up. And then put your hands up. You ever seen nigga at the top of the mountain do that? That's on top of climbing that mountain. You got to do that. Right? So I don't think that he's interested in the building process that it takes to sustain some of these things that podcasts can offer you. You understand? I think that he's been rich and been paid in a way in some of these different areas that, just like in comedy, you see him hijack the process. He's used to hijacking the process and things. And in podcasting, there's some building that has to happen. But once you build it, you're in a powerful situation because you really have a media company if you do it the right way. And it's an upstream battle. It's an uphill thing. It ain't see, I understand one thing, that if you're going downhill, that means shit getting easier for you. So anytime things feel easy, you might consider that you're going down. I need to go upstream. The generational curse is on the other side of the information. The information is on the other side of where they place me. Right? So I'm headed somewhere. I got to get to the other side of that. But see, somebody like bruh is already broken that. He's already been able to raise his children in a situation behind a gate and things like that. So that's not that you're not enthused to build something in a way that I keep telling y'all, innovation comes from the middle or the bottom. The ones at top, they can benefit from the innovation if they place themselves in a business situation to be able to do so. But it's gonna come from the middle or the bottom. It ain't gonna never come from the top. Cause you dealing with tired legs. I understand in podcasting, Loon got to go against. Like Wallow and Gilly. Let's say them for instance. Everybody love their podcast. I love their podcast, right? So I look at it, but I understand something. All right, so in this space, dog, I'm looking for the money just like them, right? So I'm saying, all right, how do you compete with Wallow and Gilly? So now I got to compete with Wallow, Gilly, and Dirk. Wallow, Gilly, and Kodak. Not from I'm just saying this week they're dropping their episode with Dirk. I'm dropping my episode with just me. I gotta find a way to how to compete with that. So, but guess what I know? If a nigga just depending on that, which I know they ain't, but if the people in front of you are only depending on their status, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Because that means they no longer working. You understand? If all they got left in front of you is their status, you right where they at with talent. You right where they at with the business. You right where they at with everything they got going. The only thing they got left is status. Don't you worry about that, especially if that's all they depending on. If they ain't got no innovation involved with what they doing, don't you worry about their status. Being cool is fragile. There's an old saying, right, that says, an ant on his feet can do more than an elephant on his back. And these niggas on their back. Man, when all you motherfucking depending on is your status on me, boy, you done underestimated my ability to innovate in this motherfucking space, boy. You done underestimated the great one. Because I'm placed in a position where all I had was information. The buddy pass, they didn't sell them where I was from. You had to get the regular flight out of this motherfucker. Wasn't no buddy pass. And unfortunate for them, I love to do this. And that's where the problem come in there for them. Cause I just told you, if people are only depending on their status ahead of you, my nigga, don't you worry about that. I'ma outwork these niggas. I'ma get up earlier than these niggas. I'ma do more than these niggas. I'ma give my people more, because what happens with a long form podcast, right? And I watched it and I know this for a fact, is that you lose a lot of your listeners, right, in hour one. But week after week, you gain more that went 2 hours in. And now, 8 years from now, you got all your real people that's with you that really done listened and know who you are and know how you rock. You building, you begin with the ending in mind, man. And podcasting for me is weird, because I respect the game so much, and I've read all these old books, the 48 Laws of Power, all these 4 agreements, these things that people read now and think that they're geniuses. That's old game. You need to update your game. That's old game. Although it's still worthy and it's still impactful, it's still worthy of a reading. I'm reading right now again, Outliers. Right? So certain things you got to revisit once your status and where your vision catches up with your understanding. And so you revisit some of these things to replant some of these seeds to make sure you understand. Because I understand, Loon, you're an outlier. And it was by mistake you got good at this. This shit was by mistake. But was it by mistake? Because you got all these hours in doing something that had nothing to do with this, but had everything to do with this. This shit is kind of weird, but that's another thing. In podcasting, I understand position. Not even in podcasting, in business, I understand position. Just understanding position is primary for me, because I understand, number one, people get offended when they think you're trying to outshine the master, right? And this is 48 Laws of Power game. I think when people get close to you and you seem to not be subservient to whatever's happening, that may come off a certain way. But I need to speak to the youngsters out there that need the information, or even the old heads, even anybody that's in a space where it's competitive and it's an uphill battle. I need to speak to y'all because I need y'all to understand that just because you lead the race don't mean you win the race. Now, you may have to work harder than the people that's ahead of you. You may have to go further than them. You may have to book hotels that they would never sleep in to get it done. But one thing for sure, two things for certain, that if you just go get it done, you're gonna be on the other side of the losers. But even in podcasting, I understand position. I tell myself, just because you lead the race don't mean you win the race. Loon, just keep swimming. Head down, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. They gonna say you losing real bad. Don't look like you never can win. Head down, keep swimming. Don't look like they gonna let you, boy, they killing you out there. Head down, keep swimming. We don't hear them. Head down, keep swimming. Eyes on your own paper, keep swimming. Cause I know we dealing with a new industry, and I know we dealing with a new space. And guess what that says to me? That these things are a process. But the people ahead of you, and I'm speaking of big companies. The big companies, right, in this space, the people ahead of you will want you to believe that ain't no need you coming on the other side. Ain't nothing there for you. You too far behind. But I understand process. They'll convince you that because they leading the race that they already won, and that's not true. Head down, keep swimming. It's almost like Christopher Columbus or whoever they said discovered America, whatever story that they tell us or what they teach us. Again, I've heard several different stories that wasn't the case, but again, let's set that to the side and just deal with the analogy of, hey, some of these podcast guys was just here early. They just are the Christopher Columbuses of this space. And so while it seems they may have started this or they may have won, boy, we look up. And I think the more important thing is the 300, 400 years of free labor that they got. Not them in Christopher Columbus, but them in whoever put the structure in place, because them the guys who won. So now we in a new industry. My thing is, I need to be responsible for putting some innovation in place, right, in this space. Because fix a problem, figure it out, fix a problem. But some people look at it and they teach you that the most important thing, or it's even more important when you deal with Christopher Columbus, because he discovered America. He was the first one to realize that this land was a land that we can use for something. When you ask Loon say the more important story of that time was the 400 years of free working that you got. And in this new podcasting space, it's the same thing. It's a different thing from who discovered that this was a beautiful place to make money. And who gonna be the people to put the structure in place? Who gonna be the people that eat off this shit? And they won't work us this time for 400 years before we figure out how to get some money out of this. Not me, but even in this space, you got to build this out. You got to build this out. So you got to be innovative in your approach. Again, if they only depending on status, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Because there's some people on the other side that's innovative with what they doing. They approach ain't nothing like no, hey man, we depending on. See, I always tell people when I'm in these meetings, yo, we ain't depending on these guys to come and they name to be hot, although we gonna participate in that too. I know they hope I don't, because if I don't, then they can always say they bigger than me because the hottest niggas come right at that time. So I'm gonna get in that ball field as well. But I know it's more about the conversation that's had. I know it's more about what we talking about, how we getting to the information, what's really coming out of this. That's what it's about. And then you got to mix entertainment in with that, put the medicine in the can, then make sure that you do. It's a lot. And that's why you hear T.I. say it ain't worth it, because it's heavy for him. He done this for rap. I done this in TV. You know what I'm saying? You done this a few times, but don't worry. Don't worry. I'll figure it out. Let me speak about this. Kanye West. Again, I always tell you guys, I gotta watch how everything happens in this space, man. Just like the Joe Rogan thing with the cancel culture, I view Kanye in the same way in regards to saying, yo, I gotta watch how it's happening around here, because everything that happens in your industry is soon to happen to you. I'm not naive to those expectations. I understand that we are in a game that at any point you can be a victim of the things that you have been a supporter of. And so for me, man, it's always tricky, slippery, riding through and coming through this game with giving your opinion and information and trying to speak in a way that's not offensive but informative. And so it's a thin line between offensive and informative, especially when you have opposite ideas. And so for me, I think it's important to see what the world at this point wants to do with bad ideas. So a lot of these things don't harm people. They're bad ideas right now. I think that when we deal with each other's family, let's take that off the table and only consider some of these other things. Although I think they are ineffective, at worst, I think they're bad ideas when we're dealing with Kanye West. Right? Sometimes his approach is the juice worth the squeeze. I always ask, yo, is what Kanye doing, is it effective or is it ineffective? I know it's unconventional, but is it working? At some point, I think I'm going to have a few bad ideas myself. Not intentionally, but I think this is a human being attribute. I think this is a human being characteristic. And so, yeah, I'm watching what they do with people with bad ideas. Kanye's worth billions of dollars. I'm also watching what they're doing with the African American, one of my sisters over in Russia. I think there hasn't been enough coverage on that. I think we have set that to the side, me including, and I apologize publicly for that. I gotta get a segment on that, and I'm gonna do that. But I'm dealing with Kanye and the cancel culture thing right now. When I say to myself, Loon, you know at some point you're going to say something that someone's going to paint in a way and you're going to be on the other side of what they're talking about, and it ain't going to be favorable for you. You talk a whole lot, so it's going to be a point where they're going to be able to paint you or try to in a way that ain't the best. And it misrepresents what the point that you was trying to make, and it removes context. But that don't change the fact that you got to deal with it. So you motherfucking right. My eyes open with how they do Kanye West when they want him to shut up. How the label want Meek Mill to shut up. What they do. Oh, you see how they done the last album because he won't shut up. How the people do when they want you to not say nothing and just sit there and be quiet. You damn right I'm watching that shit. I know if my neighbor come and tell me, yo, they stealing Amazon packages, they got me for 2 just today, I know that it's a chance one of my packages may come up missing. And we neighbors in this space. You black, I'm black. We looking at money. We trying to evolve and understand how to be innovative and fix a problem, because the only way they gonna let us get money is we gotta fix a problem that they don't have patents on, because they'll patent shit before it even become a problem. So they'll whoop us after we've innovated something and, oh, we own that. How you own that? Well, this contract speaks to any spinoff that has anything to do. Like, yo, bro, shit is crazy. So we got to be extremely innovative in our approach. I think Kanye should get with a major media outlet. I know he going to build one up. He got the money to build one up, but I think he should get with a Revolt. Like, he should get with a Revolt or something like that that's able to really, really, really give him those outlets on a major level like that. You know, because what's going to happen, or what's happening is he has no fighting power back. We fighting like a motherfucker for him on the internet when we can. Like, when he just ain't super wrong, we fighting for him on the internet, but he got to get with a powerhouse that's able to get that out there. Or we got to build one us up. It's Up There Podcast. We got to build something up to what now they got to respect us in mainstream media on here. That's why you don't see me on my show doing a whole bunch of drinking or nothing. Because I know, hey, yo, I got to go be able to sit down with certain people. They got to view this in a certain way. This serious business. Yeah, this ain't just no talking and cussing loud and all that. We serious business talking on this side. So y'all got to respect that. But if he's going to stay effective online, he going to have to get with a powerhouse. But he may switch it. It looks like he's switching it. Looks like he's saying, you know what? They suspended my account. Fuck them people. I ain't getting back on they shit. He might pop out with his own. You never know. Or he might have took those couple days off and been like, man, you know what? I'm doing too much about this shit. This shit ain't really worth nothing. But hey, if you're a comedian and they start picking comedians up and chopping their head off, you better understand that, man, I'm somewhere on that list. Or because I'm a comedian, I may fall on that list. So when they deal with content creators a certain way, I got to view and look and see what's happening over there. When Steve Harvey said, man, I didn't have my shit together in America's Got Talent, or they run off with my shit. When you hear T.I. say, yo, Family Hustle, I didn't have nothing to do. Man, I got to be paying attention because I'm one of them. I'm one of them dudes in this space creating shit. So it's important. And that's why I say these conversations so important, because sometimes we'll never speak to the people we affect. I'm not going to lie. When you're dealing with your wife or your woman you put a lot into, I expect some unconventional reactions to you going to get the complete opposite from me, and it would weigh on me as a guy, in which I think that probably would result in behavior unlike you would expect from me, right or wrong or indifferent. I'm not sure. It depend on the circumstance, I think. But Kanye has to be careful not to be canceled. And we got to be careful that we don't let them cancel Kanye. And not because we believe in what Kanye says, but he is one of the powerful ones that we have, and one of our fearless ones. Now, he can't use that against us, but we have to delegate a certain amount of patience to the ones that could be as impactful as someone like Kanye. I do think we also got to hold them accountable and responsible for the damages that they do to us and how dumb they make us look when we ride with them, because sometimes we ride regardless of the circumstances. But I'm a strong believer in you don't get that far to give it away. And leading the race ain't winning the race. But on the other side, again, I make the point again, if my neighbor come and say, yo, they stealing Amazon packages, they got me and they got the next neighbor over there. I'm in this neighborhood, so I got to think they gonna get me. So I got to watch it. But see, Rogan ain't canceled because, number one, he didn't say those things as being a racist. I know that because I've watched all of them in full. Even the ones deleted, we have them. Number two, he has a big platform that says, no, and you get, again, it's about packaging. You got to know how to package it. You got to package what you're doing under free speech. Kanye's attempt at that was the art thing. Oh, this is my art. So y'all gonna tell me I can't do art. And none of us got behind them. None of the media stood tall behind them and understood. See, they can't tell us what they're doing, because if it's on record that we just got to move in formation, but it got to be more communication. And we got to spread the money out. You don't get the dogs to move. Man, you come out the house with some food for them dogs in the backyard and see how they move. Kanye was removed off the Grammys. Following that, Jay Prince had something to say. Let's listen to what Jay Prince had to say, and we'll come back with some game.
Hip-hop versus the Grammys. I've been watching the Grammys control and dictate our culture to their benefit up close and personal for the past 30 years that I've been in the music business. And all the artists, managers, executives would do is complain, but never had the nuts to come together and do anything about it. Even though the latest episode deals with Trevor Noah and the counseling of Kanye, this racist act is so much bigger than them. Let's just start with the mindset of the words counsel and cancel, where the Grammys is concerned, and compare them to rehabilitation and legal slavery, where the penitentiary is concerned. If we begin with counsel and rehabilitation in the Grammys or the penitentiary, the truth is that they really don't exist. They're just fancy lies. But on the other hand, if we look at the words counsel and legal slavery punishment, those words are true, real, and exist today. For example, for those of you that never took the time to read the 13th Amendment, it clearly says that slavery was abolished, except for use as punishment for a crime you've been convicted of. So therefore, according to the 13th Amendment of the Constitution, everyone in the prison system and those that are out of prison that have been convicted of a crime are considered slaves in the United States and under its jurisdiction in 2022. Not only did they make slavery lawful by an amendment, they then created the laws by which people would be enslaved. They did that shit back then, and they are still doing it today. This background is important to know because of the mentality of those that control both the Grammys and the prison systems in the United States. This is a slave master punish a nigga mentality and act to remind us that no matter how much money we have, we are still niggas in their eyes. So they cancel Kanye and discriminated against Drake, The Weeknd, Nicki Minaj, and many others over the years. This will only be broken by us uniting our powers to bring about change moving forward. How do we bring about change? I'm glad y'all asked. I recommend that the artists I've mentioned above and more come together in Las Vegas and perform at the same time as the Grammys on a special network and streaming platform to prove that ratings will change where the Grammys are concerned when the number one selling genre in music, hip hop, come together, because there's power in numbers. The powers that be will be mad at me about this one, but fuck them. I love the culture. The seed has been planted. Let's water it.
That was Supreme Game by the great Jay Prince. You see the prison system and you see how he bring that together, right? So dudes can understand the oppression involved. I think that was an important way to present that, and I can tell he's been working on his book writing skills and he's getting better and better. Shout out Jay Prince on that message. If we were able to do that, I think that would be a powerful get together. I see a couple of things keeping that from being the case, but if we were able to do that, bro, right, same time, same day, all our people go over there, that's how you really start to do it. But I want to go back and study, and I think I'm going to do it here soon, especially when I get with some of these powerhouse companies, black people that we maybe can build something. But I want to go back and study how the Grammys even got prestigious in that way. I think at the beginning you have some real strict criteria and make it seem like, it's some game being put down, because really that shit ain't nothing but supreme game. The Grammys ain't nothing but game. Man, these people here, man, we voting. This is the most prestigious award, and once you get one of these, it's game. We just got to figure out what game they put down and follow that blueprint, because they not going to tell us. Imagine that we don't have one award that is mobilized by black people, and that is prestigious for 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 black in entertainment at all, and we run entertainment and sports at all, and we run sports. Every award that we get that's actually means something, not only to the artists or the athletes, to the market. Cause see, that's part of the game. They done tied in they award with what it do to the market for your price and your booking fee and all that. That's what we gotta do. We gotta have an award that ties in to the market and make our awards prestigious and come on in with it. I think Jay Prince was on the right road. We gotta really, really drill that down and figure out how to do it, because a performance will do good and it'll hurt their ratings for that one time, but I don't know if that's a long form explanation to the Grammys approach and the void that it may feel for some of those artists not to now be in the running to get some of those things. Because you got to think, because Jay had it, because Mike had it, because these people had it, it makes it in a way where these new artists want to have one. And Jay Prince was hit the nail right on the head, right? So he mentioned all those artists, and those artists are great. I think Jay and them won't be involved because of that situation with 1501 Rock Nation, his company Rock Nation, because I won't call it a Jay-Z situation, because it's not a Jay-Z situation. But the Rock Nation and 1501 with Carl Crawford, and now Jay Prince is on the side of Carl Crawford and some contract disputes and things happening. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and move on to that subject. So for those of you unaware, Carl Crawford and Megan Thee Stallion were going back and forth about her record label contract. Let's see if I can find it. So speaking of the situation with 1501 and Megan Thee Stallion with Carl Crawford, this tweet came out. Shout out Hollywood Unlocked. Record label 1501 Certified Entertainment sues Megan Thee Stallion, claims she owes them more money and more recordings. As it was previously reported, the rapper sued 1501 back in February to declare her 2021 record fulfilled her contract, meaning the album she put out in 2021, Something for the Hotties, should have fulfilled her contract with 1501. However, in a countersuit filed Monday, the label argues that her project, Something for the Hotties, did not have sufficient material to be considered a real album. 1501 reportedly claims that the record is nothing more than a compilation of old previously recorded material. Label says Something is made up of 21 recordings that include spoken interlude recordings on which MTS does not appear, as well as several previously released recordings. The doc obtained by TMZ states 1501 also says that they're just 29 minutes worth of it, and to them that's just not enough to qualify as an album under her deal. And let me just speak on that for a second, because that's where it gets tricky at. Because you play the streaming game, and that's why I'm saying good lawyers find a way to get through those contracts. Because you play the streaming game and then you move this song to there, and then that counts because that song's on there, which, you know, was funded, and then like it's a thing. But labels don't want you to use the same song. They won't count it. If you use the same song on multiple albums, it won't count towards your contract. You can do it and we'll eat off of it and split the money with you and everything, but towards your contract it won't count. And then shortly after that, Megan Thee Stallion tweets this. She calls Carl Crawford greedy and fires back at 1501 lawsuit. Lord, free me from this joke ass label. And Megan Thee Stallion tweets, first the man over my label said I don't make him any money. Now he countersuing, trying to keep me on this label because he wants to make more money off me. If it ain't making you no money, why not just drop it? Sound that now that's an interesting point. Sound like some good game to me. That sound pretty logical. It says, let me go, LOL, greedy ass man, LOL. But you know a contract is the contract. It also says my lawyer asked him for an expense report, meaning money that 1501 has spent on me. Grown ass man put his jewelry and chains on there. Lord, free me from this joke ass label. This is what Megan Thee Stallion is saying on Twitter. I choose not to say nothing back about court and address online, but I'm getting tired of being painted as the bad guy. 247. The last girl on 1501 mad at this man as well. She must mean 24/7. So I'm yeah, I think that's what she meant. I'm tired of being painted as a bad guy 24/7. The last girl that was on 1501 was mad at this man as well. And I think that girl came out and said, yo, you know my name. You could have tagged me. I could have used that pub. Then she says, she responds to a fan and said, at this point, Meg's going to have to show us the bullet wound or something. So this is just the fans being frustrated with not knowing what's going on with the Tory thing. Meg tweets back, Sitches. I'm going to use Crip Mac word. Meg tweets back. She said, bees like this have actual cum for brains. Frank eating ass bees. My hospital records are public record. The DA has made a statement. Y'all choosing to be dumb at this point. You better hope a man never assaults you and nobody, especially women, believe you. And see, when they say things like that, it's hard because you don't know what side of the street to fall on, man. It's really rough, this little situation. Then she also tweeted to Carl Crawford, Carl, I don't want to be signed to your pill popping ass. You talking about I ain't paid for a show and you sound slow. I'm the artist. I don't pay you directly. Maybe fight with the man you signed to him. You may see some money for you fucking powder head. You hiding behind Jay Prince. Carl, you got a whole contract with 300 and talking shit to me like I got your money. You are attacking me. Why? Because you want to be famous, not rich. Ask Kevin Lyles where your money at, stupid. Now, she's saying that, yo, you coming at me and the people bought me out the contract. Your business is now with them, not with me. Your business is now with them, not with me. So I don't know why you steady more coming at me. See, and Tech Stone said this, and I'm not sure if y'all seen it, but Tech Stone said that Meg got to get with a street dude because it'll stop all that dudes coming at her. Said Nicki Minaj went through the same thing where dudes was foot on the gas coming at her. Then she got with dude and it all stopped. I don't know. I said, wow, they kind of make a little sense. Now, y'all think about that and tell me what you think. But Meg is, if she do come out the champion of all this, bro, it's going to be dope because it's a lot going on with Meg Thee Stallion, man. It's a lot of people like waiting on her to like fall. Right? Waiting on her to get held accountable for the Tory thing. Some kind of way they've been able to, you know, based on the lack of information or the information that's out, it's been able to kind of spin the narrative a little bit, and the voices on the other side are getting a little louder. Because when it first happened, it was smashed down on Tory. Nobody fuck with Tory. And it seemed like more and more, it seemed like it's just been getting more and more, a little bit more accepting of Tory, a little bit more accepting of things with Meg. People being a little bit more vocal on how they feel about it, and yo, her music ain't really this, and And it's been loud voices in the game that's been saying these things. And we all know that people know how powerful their voice is. They ain't talking without understanding the impact of their voice. Dear Meg Thee Stallion tweets this. Also, how can I owe you any of my money outside of music when your team can't even provide actual statements of what I owe? You also haven't paid me since 2019. Your team signed off on something for the Hotties to count as an album. Now it's not jokes. People love bringing up Rock Nation like, hell yeah, my team is great. Am I supposed to have a bad one? And what about it, B? Bye, I'm not speaking to nobody else on here. See y'all in court. Carl Crawford didn't respond. See, it was a back and forth thing, and we'll try to get some information out of it again. That's what we here for, to try to get information out of these things, not necessarily deal with these things as it pertains to both individuals involved. Again, not interested in these people as much as we are in the process and the information, because we understand one or two things. They're not the first person in that position, and they're not the last one that's going to be in that position. So for us, we must understand what it looks like to come out on the other side of something that's so difficult for a human being to get through. Carl Crawford then responds and tweets this. Hey, y'all believe that bullshit all y'all want to. I don't got Twitter fingers, so I'm not about to type all that shit all day, but I promise everything said about me about that matter is a lie, and the truth will come out soon. enough. And see, all the years that's been going by, man, you got to ask yourself, like, is all this stuff affecting her brand? She was in a very, 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 and still winning a lot of awards, but they've affected her brand, if we're being honest. Her brand has been affected by all these things that's happening, and there has been, and I saw Tory fighting for his voice or his side of things to be more presented back when the water was really hot. And I don't know, man. I don't know what her career looks like on the other side of this jury verdict. You know, what does her career look like post Tory and Meg criminal court case? Like, what does it look like for her as an entertainer? I don't know. It's just weird. Again, at It's Up There podcast, you know, we operate without any notes, but we operate with understanding. We operate with information. The culture needs for us to provide a runway to have the conversation needed to forward some of the information that is had by some of the people who can't execute at a high level anymore, right? Once you wore your audience out, that's a thing. There's a thing to wear your audience out, right? Again, being cool is fragile. So when we deal with this space, man, this space is not as beautiful as everybody think it is. It's not as lucrative as everybody think it is. And it's a lot of money here, but you got to know what you're doing to get the money. It's almost like working for Apple. Yeah, you got people that work for Apple that make all the way from $28 an hour all the way up to $78 million a year or whatever. You dig what I'm saying? So there's a range of people that work at the same company because it's less about the company and more about the functionality of the person that warrants whatever kind of payout that they get. As we say on this Up There podcast, strategy is better than strength. So you got to strategize your way through the game. Strategize your way to the top. And for women, it's even that much more difficult. Women find themselves in a way where, see, you got to think, man, your dream, sometimes you got to think what they test in their men, even with motivational speaking. That's why as I go further in this game and I branch out to not doing motivational speaking, but speaking, because I'm able to penetrate those football guys. I'm able to penetrate some of these people in a way that other people may not. I've been blessed with a certain trajectory of voice and inflection and understanding how to do things. And so whenever I do spin off, one of my biggest goals is to find a black woman motivational speaker. Because a lot of times the biggest voice in this game and in this motivational speaker type world and game is a male speaking to a male about how he get through the woods and the lion and the don't nobody never speak about the cheetah. The cheetah is important in the jungle as well, right? And that's just a whole nother song for a different studio session. But I'm telling you, that's one of my goals. But in this game, when you speak, in this game, when you hear the motivational people speak, you hear them say you give your dream your all. You give your dream everything you got. You throw yourself at your dream. You put in your sweat equity, your blood, your sweat, your tears. You give it all you got. And while that is an application for a man that is effective, when we look at woman, that's where it gets slippery. Because on the other side of that, you have a woman that doesn't understand that her sex should be off the table when it comes to interacting about business. Now, that's your car. You let who drive. You let whoever you want to drive that car yours, because that title belongs to you. But you should never be in a position in which you can frame it where it feels like that there is some kind of swap going on, and where you give me sex and I give you next. because I have a podcast, and so we speak about these things, and sometimes we compartmentalize when we talk about them in hopes that people understand that we're doing this for the sake of podcasting, and please don't remove context and be not deceived. But sometimes on the other side of your dream, they put you in a peculiar situation because they show you they got all the buttons to make it work. So Lotto alleges that she finds herself in that situation on Big Boy. Shout out Big Boy. I'll be in LA this week. Shout out Big Boy on the West Coast. Big Boy Radio. But Lotto went up there and explained what it was like dealing with a unknown artist in regards to getting a feature on the album. Let's listen to what she said.
I don't know what's to come yet.
Yeah. Do you get frustrated?
Still to this day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Why do you say still to this day?
You know, you got letdowns. You got, you know, being a female rapper. Like, I'm clearing my album right now, and it's been like difficult to deal with these men. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how to keep it business, and then they want to like.
What do you mean by that?
So like, I don't care. Like, baby, I'm gonna just keep it 100. It's a feature on my album that it was difficult to clear, and they like trying to drop their nuts on me because I won't respond to a DM.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Is it and without saying the name, but is it artist or producer or somebody?
Artist.
Oh wow.
Artist, yeah.
And they'll still be on the album?
Yeah, just because I love the song so much and I had to turn it in yesterday, so I didn't really have a choice. So I was like backed into a corner like bully. But I wish more females would speak up on stuff. I know like the labeling and stuff, they say, you know, don't do that, bad business, whatever. Man, these folks be trying to drop nuts on female rappers. Then, like, I'm not gonna shut up about it.
Also, too, Lotto, it's like you gotta expose the game too.
Yeah.
Because there's somebody that's coming up either next to you, behind you, or you know, it could be a year or two. And sometimes, Lotto, we think that that's the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
Like some people probably think like, oh, that's how you get in the business.
Right.
That's how you get a song
We tolerate
cleared.
too much. We think like, oh, well, that just come with the game being a female rapper. No, it shouldn't though.
Right.
I'm sorry you have to deal with that.
Because they definitely wouldn't do that to pick any male rapper.
You know you ain't doing that to your fellow male rapper.
Yeah, you're not
like,
hitting the future up like, hey man, what's happening, man? What's up? Yeah.
Come on.
Damn, are you a fan of that person first? Man, I was a fan. Like,
I mean, well, I will say this: everybody on my album, I don't like go seek features if I don't listen to their music or I'm
so
like,
it meant something to you.
So it meant something to me for sure. Like, I was definitely rubbed the wrong way, but I love the song so much, and I didn't want to not put it on my album. So I'm like, I don't have no choice, and I didn't have time to record a.
We already got
verse.
Wheelie with 21.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not 21.
It's not. No, it's not 21.
Okay. All right, because that was already going.
You trying to narrow it down?
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man. And I started off with all respect, like, don't say the name. Now I'm sitting here, I'm like, dude, who the F is this?
I tell you off camera, I don't give a.
And you know what? When you tell me off camera, I'll keep it off camera.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be different.
It's lame though. It's lame. Like how they do female rappers is so lame. Like, cause I won't respond to your DM. Like,
right.
For real.
Trying to hold the record up.
Yeah.
Hey man, this person is probably hoping. Because you got to think, I don't know who we speaking about and how much shine they already had.
Yeah.
But then you looking at the next great champ.
Right.
And now it's like.
And now I can't wait to look. I can't wait to step on you. You better hope, baby. Man. You better pray on my downfall. Because when I get in that position, I cannot wait.
But you already, and it's crazy because you say when I get in that position.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you so positioned for greatness already.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you can tell people.
I wonder what made us say that. I can't wait to get in the position. I'm going to step on you and all that. Sound like, I don't know. But that's an unfortunate place to find yourself in, to feel that way. After that, the internet went up in arms, accusing Kodak Black, saying, yo, it gotta be Kodak, and we've heard Kodak say things. That's why I always tell y'all that shit on the internet don't mean nothing until it means something, right? So we've heard him play around, say little things that people saying, nah, he ain't playing now. But they wait till they can apply it to something. It don't mean nothing until it means something. So Lotto after that went on Breakfast Club, and you know Charlamagne and Envy and Angela Yee, they gonna ask like, yo, who was it? She's like, I'm not gonna say the name. I shouldn't have. I'm not gonna say the name. my first initial thought was, yo, I know she know the internet is blaming Kodak. She should clear dude's name if that's not dude. So when she didn't clear his name, I said, damn, I'm thinking like, damn, that's petty. Because in my mind, I ain't thinking it's Kodak. But then more things came out, and Kodak Black took to the internet and said this. Okay, but hold on. But before we look at what Kodak said on his IG Live, we're going to look at Lotto being asked the question on Breakfast Club and what Kodak Black said in response to that. Again, everybody probably thought that wherever Lotto went at after that, she was going to clear Kodak. Because, man, if he on the album, that's her homie, and they'll probably clear that up. But this is what she said on Breakfast Club.
Was it Kodak?
I don't want to say who it was.
Yeah.
I just feel like, because it's going to distract from the music, and my intentions is not to get anyone dragged or anything. I just wanted to speak from, like, what do I deal with? I don't specifically want someone to, get dragged, or that cancel culture shit is a motherfucker.
Did other female artists?
And so Kodak said, the mulatto girl's not talking about me, homie. I see y'all steady reaching, LOL. Shout ain't even say a nigga name on that shit. I don't know why y'all trying to make a nigga wear that jacket. I'm too fly for that shit, homie. Again, you seen Charlamagne ask, yo, is it Kodak? The internet going crazy saying Kodak. And you know if she don't say no, it mean yeah. In my opinion. You see what I'm saying? If you went up and asked a woman, hey, how you doing? Do you have a boyfriend? Anything outside of yeah is no. Because, and the only reason I say that is because she made it clear with 21 Savage when they were asked, is it 21? No, it's not 21. So if you say no, now if I keep asking you, if you don't say no, it means yes. So then after that, Kodak Black went on live and said this.
First off, man, bro, hey, listen, I made in my tweet, man. That's why that shit say the other day, that shit say, that bitch was not talking about me, period. Bitch ain't got no kind of screenshot, no kind of motherfucking, no kind of nothing that say I was trying to text a bitch, or I was trying to get some pussy, or I was trying to be on any of that shit, homie. Any of that shit, boy. Man, keep it Z, homie. I've been at that number, boy, years ago. I've been hollering at that shit years ago, before that shit was even popping like that, homie. So, kill that shit. And that shit ain't never say a nigga name, homie. So, y'all kill that shit. That nigga, you know, fuck about that shit. So, y'all kill that shit, homie. Try to play it like a nigga. Man, stop playing, boy. Any bitch DM I jump in where they fight back, homie. Like, any bitch. I'm talking about, like, viral bitches. Like, bitches with real money. Bitches with way more money. What the fuck you talking about? Like, I got bitches for real. Like, I'm getting money for real. The fuck, I'm been out here, been doing this shit. Like, I've been getting money for a long time. I've been doing this shit for a long time. You know what I'm saying? This is shit. Fuck, bro. Yeah. And there's a lot of the bills they go to get money. That's why girls can never be in control of the world or have authority or be what you call it. Cause y'all go to get a little shit, and then y'all just get on some whole other shit. I mean, I done had bitches who I've been crushing, homie. Throwback, go to get them a little money and go to try to play like a nigga, like they got more money than me. I said they gonna try to talk it down on me, try to talk acting like y'all can't do this. That nigga, you know, fuck about that shit. So y'all kill that shit. I'm gonna try to play it like a nigga. Man, stop playing, boy. Any y'all kill the shit. Stop calling my name on that fuck shit, bro. I said nigga ain't no on no shit. I fuck. Damn, bro, that little bitch be all in that, bro. Savage, bro. You know what I'm saying? She out that 21, bro. You know what I'm saying? Me and 21, homeboy, we be hollering and shit like that, bro. He's not trying to text you, girl. Stop playing. I mean, like, she know that, bro. What she ain't say, no name, bro. But y'all tripping, bro. You know what I'm saying? My engineer, he just saw some shit like, alright, it looked like a bitch playing with my little dog. So, that's why he jumped on there like, man, because he know what it is, dog. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Everybody respond to shit different. See, I responded to that shit like, man, you know what? She ain't talking about me, boom, boom. I kept it cordial because all the simple fact, dude, she fucking with, bro. You know what I'm saying? Alright, we supposed to be saying how to I being found, whatever. I'm just saying, so what? You know what I mean? But, however, like, okay, bitch, y'all playing with a nigga talking about, bro, confirming that shit. So Y'all kill the shit. Stop commenting my name on that fuck shit.
All right, then Kodak Black's engineer came out and said this. Let me fill you in on the bullshit with Lotto and what it's all about. She asked for a feature a while back. We charged her a normal rate. She wanted a swap. Since her verse wasn't really doing anything for us, we asked for a swap for our female artist and charged her less. She declined and said she was going to not use the record out the blue. She decides to accept a higher fee and still not offer a swap for our artist. Talk about empowering fellow female rappers. Now she's on some bullshit that she was made uncomfortable in holding up your album. I know you're not talking about us. You're on your diva shit when no one is getting in the car playing your records. Your whole album had legal issues. I'm on the email chain. Stop trying to pull this empathy card for sales. You try to assassinate my brother's character, I'm going to destroy yours. DMing us non-stop asking for a feature and then make it seem like we're pressed. I ain't going to lie. Ain't gonna let you lie on us like that for sympathy. Everyone is always super friendly when it come to asking for a verse. Just say you're upset that we didn't like your Super Gremlin remix. So that was both sides of, the Lotto and Kodak Black shit. And for me, dog, I always like to see the interactions of how we interact with each other when we have a dispute or a problem, or there seems to be a misunderstanding or the communication has went awry, right? I like to watch how we communicate with each other. And so I watch stuff like that, I know that dudes have a hard time communicating with women. And so they try to use things. And this is off Kodak. This is just me talking about relationships and just regular shit at this point. But dudes use things the same way women use things. We all are using things in order to provide you with an understanding of what our value is. You see what I'm saying? Just like I seen what Winter went online and said, yo, I wear big clothes because I don't want my ass all out showing my ass. Like, I don't like people staring at me. And me, I like for the women that's thick, that got that kind of body, that's just shy about it like that. Like I can appreciate that. I don't like to see the woman with that kind of body with her ass out at the little boys football game. Everything got a place, and I ain't talking about you just thick, so no matter what you wear, you thick. I'm just talking about like the attire you got on right now at these kids' basketball game. Looks like the attire that I can really pick you up and take you to a decent restaurant right now. You turning me on with that on. If I'm your nigga and pull up and you push up on me with that on, I'm feeling that. I just think around children or around, I be seeing some people come to church, I be like, good God. No pun intended. Let's talk about this. Joe Budden said that there's no better feeling. Let me see if I can find the tweet, because it was a tweet where people are saying that this was directly at Rory and Mal. Joe Budden says this on Twitter: no better feeling than making sure your people get rich, even if you never speak to them again afterward. Then someone named @JoeBrody said, bro, you fired them and they discovered their actual worth in the open market. That's not you getting them a bag. That's you dropping 2 bags. And then Joe Budden responds to him and says, that's your version. People went to asking me, what do I feel about that? I do think Joe spread it out, some of his influence, some of his power. And I think you got to be in this game to know that. But I think that it happened without him knowing it, right? I think it was a hell of a marriage, and it was one thing used the other, right? So they did it at first when Joe Budden cachet was down. But because they did a good job and he was a celebrity, they did a great job on the pod. It raised his cachet and gave him the ability to branch out and go do the love and hip hop and go do the this and go do that with a different leveraging, with a different negotiation standpoint. So he was able to negotiate love and hip hop different, and some of these things he was able to do. I'm talking about post podcast. If you look at pre-podcasting, he wasn't getting no hell of a lot of money, but post, they respected it in a different way. Then Spotify came in, then that changed everything. Right? And so it was unintentional in regards to as much impact as it did. Because I've always said that Joe Budden did give his audience to Rory and Mal in regards to the rap audience. Right? I ain't talking about the sports audience. I ain't talking about the college audience. I'm talking about the rap audience. He gave them that. The same way academics gave Joe Budden a lot of his audience. You see what I'm saying? This is how you let a nigga in. The same way Charlamagne gave Joe some of his audience, and Joe gave Rory Ma, right? It's an audience share thing that's happening, and you got to understand that. Because all of us share fans, right? The same people that like me, like Big Facts, they like Wallow and Gilly, they like 85 South, they like I Am Athlete, they like, you know, the same people. They kind of like the same things in the same vein, right? And we understand that. We don't shy away or run from that. That's part of the game. Competition is gonna be bred by that, just cause the fans are gonna be in the comments saying certain things. I think both things are true. I think Joe Budden got them rich and he dropped the bags. Cause what I see for Joe Budden is, this is how you make not all the money, but this is how you make a bigger portion of the money. Not only would you gave them a little bit more, I'm not sure if I would have done. I don't know what in regards to the numbers. I don't know. It played out how it played out. But just look at it from the other side. And what if Joe Budden would have been able to keep Rory and Mal? And since they were high priced, or they were negotiating from a standpoint of, hey, we kind of want more money. I tell you what, we'll do y'all 2 times a week. We'll do Ish and Ice 4 times a week. That makes me do 6 days a week. Now, what's consistent in all 6 days is Joe Budden. So now this is how you build the network out. You had 2 shows going on at the same time. That would have been beautiful, but the chips didn't fall that way. Rory and Mal got out of there, and Joe built it back up with Ish and Ice. I wonder how long that'll be the format. I'm not sure. I think he might have an idea what to do next. I'm not sure. A lot of people in this space, man, you just pushing and pulling. And let me say this just to get, you know, I was watching a movie and it made me think about this. Let me say this to all the women and the guys out there, all the guys and the women out there that's in relationships and may fall victim, like, because I know the internet has ruined a lot of relationships. The internet has been at the forefront of making a relationship go from its peak to its destruction. The internet offers you a reality that just you can't sustain. When you look at some of these people, and some of these people are presenting you, they highlight reels and what it is that you doing with me, right? So you can be a pure D regular individual. Got a man busting his ass, doing everything he can to provide. Might got 2-3 felonies, working 2-3 jobs at a minimum in regards to pay rate. But trying his best to provide, but you holding them up against a standard that you chasing on the internet. Right? He might say, man, he needs you to pay the light bill. And if that ain't your speed, then you shouldn't have never got in that vehicle. Right? I'm telling you, after you had already signed up, now you've allowed somebody's virtual reality to influence your actual reality. And separating the two is instrumental. It's the ingredients in regards to figuring out how to go somewhere in your real life, giving your time self to evolve. I tell women all the time, baby, make it obvious. You ain't got to tell me to marry you. I'm going to marry you when you make it obvious. When I tell myself I can't, man, I got to stay. What? I'd be a fool to let somebody else get that. Make it obvious. One thing a man don't like to do is lose. The problem is a lot of men can categorize you in regards to when he dealing with you, right? You've allowed your characteristics to show that would allow him to characterize you as not pleasant. Let's just say that. And anything not pleasant from a man that can consider being on the other side of that will always choose the other side of that. I've saw women be in their friend groups and dudes be in their friend groups and people be in their friend groups and they being cheered on and they being applauded and they being asked to do things that other people wouldn't do. I've heard things if I wouldn't be with a man that travels that much. I couldn't be with a woman that talks to me that way. I couldn't mess with a woman that never cooks, and I couldn't deal with a man that wouldn't pay half the bills. And all you got to do is examine a real situation. The proof is in the pudding. Examine a real life. The proof is in the pudding. The youngsters call that doing it for the gram. They'll tell you to leave someone that they wouldn't leave no matter what the circumstances were. If they were placed in the same position to have the same guy that you have, under no circumstances would they consider leaving him. But on the sideline, it's easy to say, ain't no way I would ever. The problem is when somebody fall victim to that, right? When you start doing stuff to strengthen how you look outside the relationship, right? You know, people are watching. So now you go to telling your friends or you go to telling whoever it is that you now I'm changing how I view this. What you don't know is a lot of people, right? People make agreements in their head. They ain't got nothing to do with you. A lot of times if you find a guy that's not cheating on his girl, in my opinion, is literally out of extreme paranoia of hurting her, right? Because it ain't that he don't see other women and find them attractive. It ain't that. That'll be against his human nature, right? That ain't the case. It's the fact that, boy, if you get caught doing that, what level is that going, right? What level is Shorty going to go to in regards to how she express how hurt she is, like, you know what I'm saying? So it be a level of that going on, meaning it ain't worth what's going on. It ain't worth me to cheat, right? What'll happen if I get caught ain't worth what'll happen if I go through with it. And when a man is dealing with a woman, and I can only speak on that behalf, right? I'm not sure. I would assume with women, but I'm speaking about what I know to be true on the man's side. But when a man is dealing with a woman, he's computing everything that's happening. It's like some video game, right? Every little thing she say, what does she mean? If he a counselor or something, or he's a thinking individual, every little thing that happened goes into the algorithm, right? He get to a point where, oh, she said that. I remember she said that. That mean when she done that 8 months ago, that wasn't true. Because what she said 8 months ago was this, and that didn't add up to what she just said right then, right? And the only reason is because the level of distraction that being hurt is. That's why a lot of people in a pristine position don't want to be in a position of hurt, because it distracts you. Whatever it is you do, I don't give a damn what job you got or who is around. Once you get in a position of where some love has been lost or something is going on in regards to that, it hurts from a different standpoint, and it kind of shuts some of that down. It affects it at the bare minimum. But I find it interesting when women or men or people try to justify their relationship to people outside the relationship. So you may be in a situation where you overheard your girlfriend or your whoever you dating, you ever heard them say something in the other room to their friend, like, I mean, if he want to go, he can go ahead. Now, that was harmless, and she may have done that to look a certain way in the eyes of the person that she's speaking to on the phone. But what they just did to the algorithm was sent it to the other side, meaning, oh, so she can stand if you know, like, she won't be that hurt. You dig? And if a dude think that he can cheat on you and it won't matter, then he gonna probably do it. You see what I'm saying? Because ain't no expectation, right? If you don't care, see, I can do both. I can be with somebody that don't really care, and it's cool. You understand me? And it's the same love, it's the same respect, but it's an understanding that I can do what I want to do. Yeah, it take a lot of bait to get a big fish. You know, it take a lot of bait to get a big fish. So if she got a trout over there, you need to be talking to somebody that got a big fish. Cause they can relate to what it costs and what it take to deal with it. Everybody can't deal with it, but everybody can't speak on it. See, everybody can't deal with it, so everybody can't speak on it. You can't speak on what it's like to have something that everybody want. You can't speak on what it's like to be with a girl that get 1 million likes and all that old kind of niggas. Man, you don't know what it's like, man. Your girl get 8 likes. The encounter is different. The experience is different. Therefore, the expectations is different. And so when all those are different, everybody can't speak on it. But do not catch yourself or have yourself in a situation where you don't win the trick bag for your homies or your homegirls, and then you done put off a certain vibe to the person that really hold the keys to the situation, and then now you got to deal with them making you live in your reality what you've been portraying in your virtual reality. See, me, I know y'all selling sand like it's brown sugar. So I know y'all in the metaverse with all that balling, because I ran into you and you look like shit. I know all your balling and all that come out the metaverse. Because when I saw you niggas in real life, you look horrible. So yeah, we balling in real life. So now we gonna start making niggas live in their reality what they portraying in their virtual reality, because I'm doing business in the game. That's why a lot of people don't want to sit across from me, because you can't tell me anything. It's rough to tell me anything. What you gonna tell me when I'm looking at it and doing it myself? All right, let me speak about this and then we'll take a break. Soulja Boy offered Harvey from TMZ a pair of his shoes. First of all, before we go any further, let me say this. Congratulations to Soulja Boy on being a pioneer in regards to putting his best foot forward in the hustle, right? So you going, you spread your wings in regards to doing a shoe, and he running around getting that shoe, using his promo game. You dig what I'm saying? And taking care of business. And like I said, there's some big respect on that. I like to see a young nigga hustle. So that's number one. Let's look at his interaction with Harvey at TMZ and come back with some game.
That Kanye shoes ugly as go follow at Soulja Stars brand on gang, nigga. And Kanye know his shoes ugly. Wrong with that nigga. He only getting money because y'all buying them. Tell Kanye, I said, my shoes look better than his. Stop putting them ugly ass shoes out. That's why you got Skeet running all around town with Kim, because you keep putting them ugly ass shoes out, boy. I think you got nieces, nephews, something.
You know what happened in my order?
What happened?
Huh?
You gonna take a picture?
Don't tear me apart here.
You gotta put them in the closet at least. Collector's items.
I've stopped putting shit in the closet a long time ago.
You know what I find crazy when you watch something like that? And shout out to TMZ. I don't have no issue with none of that. Right? I understand the business. I understand the business model. I know what I'm looking at. I know what it's worth and what it costs. And I understand that it's virtual reality. Right? The metaverse. Y'all doing a hell of a job. Been able to carve out a position in that space, in media, in that very niched space right there. Been able to get big in that space. And I think a lot of people are modeled to be in the vein of being as big as TMZ in regards to media, right? And I'm speaking of the reach, the worldwide reach, the validity, certain things like that come with it, right? If they say it, people believe it, and they expect the video, if it's legit, to come from them. Something to be said about that. But it's interesting for me when I think about Soulja Boy's interaction with Harvey. Harvey's a white guy, and I hate to see our rappers, our pioneers have to dumb it down in a way that almost seems and comes off as timid to them guys. Fortunately for us, we can kind of identify that he's not being himself in that moment. Because when I seen him kind of ask him to take the shoe and doing it in such a way, I said, yo, that ain't the same Soulja Boy cussing Kanye West out. If you dropping the shoe, who better than align yourself with Kanye? You go crazy on Kanye and then ask Harvey to take your shoe almost like you ain't rich. I feel like I'm coming out. If I had to just close my eyes and listen to that, it would almost feel like I'm coming out the gas station and some nigga know I'm rich. And I'm coming out he like, yo, Loon, if you don't mind, man, take a pair of these shoes, bro. I know you'll wear them somewhere. It's like, yo, you Soulja Boy, you the nigga that cussed Kanye out. And Kanye sell more sneakers than anybody. Harvey can't do nothing with the sneakers. He turned them down. So, it makes me examine what makes us go at each other with such force. And then when we deal with them, be so timid that it almost feel like they done sucked all the superpowers out for you. You ain't got none. You go to this dude, man, just take him, man. A collector's item. You're trying to give him a reason to take a shoe that he's denying to take from you. And then Kanye on the other side, you bringing his wife and Pete and all them up. We got to stay consistent. And what they're showing me, your interaction with TMZ shows me that you will bend a little bit to try to get what you need to get a certain level of visibility. So why you didn't bend with Kanye? Because if somebody don't bend, then they don't bend. But man, I hate to see niggas interact with them people like that, man. Now, I'ma interact with white folks in a way like I got some sense too if it's some paper on the other side. But I ain't coming here to give you my product free for you to tell me no, homie. And then I'm trying to double down for you to give it to somebody or put it somewhere. Just take it. Nah, man. You don't even wear these. It's kind of gangster for Harvey to keep it gangster. Man, I don't fuck around with shit like this, man. What you trying to do, soldier? If I was a nigga, that'd have been a nigga saying, man, what you doing, bro? You know I don't wear that shit, though. Yo, bro, don't try to do. What you trying to do? Come on, man. I ain't. You know what I'm saying? He just kept it gangster, man. I'm not taking no shoes. And I've been doing this a long time. I don't put shit in the closet no more. That's when you first starting out and you lucky, happy to meet niggas. Man, yeah, you taking everything home. You got shit from everybody at home. No, man, I'm not taking nothing home, man. And it's just unfortunate to see you or to see Soulja Boy, to see us, because he still one of us. It's unfortunate to see us interact with each other, deal with each other in a way where we hard or we tough to each other, we cussing each other out. It just, yo, I talk about it, all things on my podcast, right? I try not to offend anyone because I'm always speaking about information and searching for information. So I try not to offend when I speak, but I'm also not going to compromise the show for anyone, right? So I'm not going to be hard on these people and not speak on these people, or not, because I don't mean no malice in my communication. My thing is to learn from the game, because it's millions of us. And we got to be informative for us to elevate. And anyone that goes against that, they let me know that they selfish and they in a dark place and they don't even know it. Anytime you only think about yourself, you in a dark place and you don't even know it. So it's important to understand and identify how to move up, when to move, when to hold them, and when to fold them. But I don't like to see, that's just like a nigga cuss his girl out and then get out there with them niggas and he quiet. Them niggas just got him walking to the store. They won't even let him use the car. They make him walk to the store and get the cigars, and he can't smoke. You know what I'm saying? And then he get home, he cussing his girl out. Nah, man. If you gon' I don't know, bro. I hate to see that. I don't want them to think we don't gotta dumb myself down. It's not disrespectful to be who you are, man. And I gotta learn that, and I gotta continue to tell my children that don't be disrespectful, but it ain't disrespectful to wear our culture on our sleeve. And if I'm this way with Kanye, I'm this way with Harvey Lemon, or whatever his name is. Like, I'm this way with everybody. You know what I'm saying? And or I'm a little bit rough on them other people. You know, because there ain't no connection really there. So they may take some of the things I'm saying in a certain way. Either way, I just hate to see that. You know what I'm saying? And I think you should get with Kanye on your shoe and let Kanye elevate that if he could. You dig what I'm saying? I think it's more value doing that than doing it the other way. But we're going to take a quick break, man, and then we'll be back. All right, so we back from break. I want to talk about something because I was really just talking to myself or you know, listening to music like I do prior to me recording, and I'm thinking, like, whenever I'm able to tell the real story of how I really came up and done this shit, it's gonna fuck the world up. I'm not on the other side, but I'm in the tunnel. It's like a tunnel you get in, right? And you work your way on the other side. It's niggas that's still stuck in this tunnel, that was on their way to liberation or on their way to being rich enough to change some things. But in this tunnel, you get a few things. You get fame, you get followers, you get likes, you get girls that would have thought about you. You get cars that ain't yours, that people let you borrow because of your name. You get a lifestyle that you can't maintain because you haven't provided it for yourself. So therefore, you don't know how to provide it. So there's a lot of things that happen as you in this tunnel, but you got it. See, for me, I'm coming from the streets with it. So everything I had from the street, they let me in the tunnel with. You understand? And that's why the new brand I got at the feds didn't get mine, because I stopped. I mean, it's over. Right? But the coast ain't clear. What happens is you get in the tunnel and you gotta make it to the other side. You're gonna get a lot of things. You're gonna get people coming out of, a lot of shit gonna happen, but you gotta stay focused. I ignore all that. I've been had enough to understand what I understand, and therefore I'm able to explain it. So as you go through the tunnel, and as I'm going through the tunnel, on your way up, you run across the niggas that went up far and now they down here. You know, niggas that might have had hit records in the early 2000s, you know, but they couldn't sustain. You know, niggas that signed with niggas that was brilliant minds. And so therefore they become fruits off that tree, right? And they're able to eat in that way. And just understanding that who was able to sustain and get really to the other side of the tunnel. Because the fame is one of the first things you get in when you get in the tunnel. And the tunnel I'm speaking about again, it just feels like going from regular working civilian to millionaire. You see what I'm saying? It's a tunnel that you go in, right? And things happen, and you got to know how to navigate around it. But for me, I'm just like, Loon, you got to survive. You got to make it to the other side. It ain't shit to celebrate about. I got deals on the table, shit happening. Everybody saying it's the truth. Let's get it. I got a lot of support, but I got to get to the other side of this shit. Right? I ain't cleared yet. And I think these niggas think it's a joke. Like, cause they playing. They come in the game playing. So I really come out the street, right? I really had to do it a certain way. And it's like, you mean to tell me I'm really finna get on the other side of this? And hopefully, you know, that happens and you're able to just stay focused. I think everybody finds a groove in their life at some point. I think the ones that take it to the next level are the ones that's able to stay focused in the midst of the storm. Understand that this is why you appreciate the rain. So you don't wish for the storm to go away. You wish for the strength to make it through the storm. You see what I'm saying? When you sit back and you pray or you ask God and you say, yo, Loon. Or I say, yo, you know, this Loon, God, this me. Like, yo, just give me understanding. Just penetrate through the universe enough understanding that I'm able to engage in things that offer my life sanctity. right? And I'm able to disregard all things that's trying to take me to a place of negativity or loss or even gambling with what I shouldn't even risk, right? Just certain things have put me in a situation because I have to fight against my teachings. Where I come from, the first thing you got was you can't let nobody, if they play with you, it's over with. They gonna pick on you and they gonna play with you for a long time. And that's a rough life. That ass whooping, you can get over that one. So get it done. You see what I'm saying? And so they teach you to be, so masculine that you can't even engage with conversations from a standpoint where you can be emotionally aware of what's happening. And for me, that's a problem because at some point you want to be able to feel. I tell people all the time, I'm living right now, but it's like I'm not experiencing anything. I'm so taking in all this other information that with my own life, I was just telling niggas, say from November to right now, bruh, I done some of the most craziest things and met some of the most famous people and been co-signed by some of the greatest minds in the business, right? And I haven't even been able to, because every time it's something else. It's something else. And it's like God is in the universe is blessing me from a standpoint of you don't got room enough. But it makes me paranoid because it makes me aware that you in the tunnel. You in the tunnel. All this shit happening, all these people, there's some on the other side, some still in the tunnel, some stuck in the tunnel, some directing traffic in the tunnel and all kind of shit. But you in the tunnel now because all this shit is happening. So now, for me, it's like, oh shit, nigga, look alive, pay attention, because this is, you got these next couple of moves gonna cost everything, gonna mean something. You got work to put in, but you got to put the work in the real place, right? So you got to partner somewhere to make sure. It's the only way to kind of, in my opinion, and I understand the game enough to understand the game. So there's a way I got to do it without saying it. There's a way I got to do it, and it's happening. But it ain't shit to celebrate about because we got to get to the other side of the goal. And I was just thinking about that, man. Sometimes my mind goes in this part of the part I could just talk. A lot of people come for certain things, and these really, this part of the podcast really where the clips be coming from when I'm really able to just kind of speak what's on my mind and get it out. You understand? It kind of provides me with a luxury, man, to get them clips people be liking, and people like, yo, he would talk about some real shit right then. So I think the people that's able to make it just stay focused. And I want, let me build a little bit more on that tunnel analogy that I was just saying. In the tunnel too, right? Because failing is not necessarily the end of the road. It depends on where you stand in your own process, right? Because if you're not instrumental in the process and you're like a piece of it that can be inserted or deleted from the process, then the process will keep moving and insert new rap or insert new comic or insert new whatever it may be in that industry. But if you're instrumental in the process, in the creativity of what's really happening on and off the camera, then what happens is it scares you if you're in the tunnel, right? Because again, in the tunnel, you also get some money. You don't get enough to change your life, although it may feel that way, because there's no information attached to the money you're getting, and your lifestyle is changing so dramatically that you spend at a high rate. Most people, right? So what you got to do is you got to have information to be able to sustain the lifestyle. See, it ain't about getting the lifestyle, it's about sustaining it. And that's why a lot of people get rich and then fall off, because sustaining it is the trick. But it scares you if you in the tunnel. Like I'm looking at dudes I run across as I'm coming up the ladder, right? Dudes stuck or coming down the ladder. I'm running across them. Oh yeah, he ain't that swift. Or he ain't had nothing to do with it. I can tell just by our interaction, he ain't talking about nothing. So I can kind of see why he didn't. And oh yeah, he don't know nothing. Them dudes they ain't really up on game, right? I'm talking about, but it scare you. You see a nigga down here in this tunnel that on his way back down, they got all the information, and he's swift and he got charisma. Then you wonder how that scare you. But if you can identify why most of these people are probably not the CEO of the company, then sometimes you can sleep a little better. But boy, when you come in that tunnel and it's a bunch of great minds and people that just been ostracized and kicked out the industry because they was just, that'll spook you out. And there's a lot of people selling tickets to the tunnel. It's a lot of people that say, well, I can get you in that tunnel. Now, I ain't for sure what can happen if you can get to the other side, but for the right amount, I'll get you to the door and get you in there. Some people saying for the right amount, I'll get you to the door. You got to get yourself in there. But once you get in this tunnel, and the tunnel, again, is like going from regular dude, to really financially wealthy, and that's on the other side of the tunnel. But in the tunnel, you get your celebrity status, you get your million Instagram likes and followers, all that come with it. But that don't signify the other end of the tunnel. I think that's an analogy, and I got to build on it because, again, I don't have notes, so I just kind of be going off the head with that kind of shit. But I think that's a good way to quantify what happens and what I'm identifying, right? And I'm only identifying it by what's happening to me. And I'm saying, oh shit, this happening. That, oh shit, nigga, you in that place where you here. Right? So now you gotta understand how to swim in this water. This water here it's a little shallow. Because in this water right here, it might look light, but it's heavy. And it might look like you can stand up, but the water deep. And if you're not paying attention, you'll drown. You know what I'm saying? And again, watch who boat you get on. Watch all that shit in this tunnel, because boy, the wrong move in this tunnel will set you back, and the right move will set you straight. So it's just a game going on. Let's talk about the documentary I've been watching. There's a new documentary on HBO Max about the Lakers. And I'm not far into the documentary, but I like the documentary, so I'm going to speak on it a little bit. I have been hearing that there's been some backlash from Magic Johnson and several people who are saying that don't support the documentary. It does not express their story, right? And I heard Joe Budden over at Joe Budden Podcast speak about how unique it is that someone can tell your story while you alive, although you disagree with it. What's the laws? What's everything surrounding that? And there's a large conversation to be had in that space, right? They got Britney Spears documentaries that come out while Britney Spears is still living. And I was the first to say, I really believe that the Netflix documentaries, some of those Surviving R. Kelly's and some of those Epstein documentaries, some of these documentaries come out and they do influence cases. And I also think there's a conversation to be had there, whether not that's good or bad. If someone touching children, we want them to be caught. Let me be clear on my stance. Again, the internet is a place that they take these tidbits of information, mash them together, and they point you out as being one of the enemies. So I got to be clear every time I say something like that. And it's the most tedious, nerve-wracking thing that I have to do while I'm on the mic, right? But when documentaries come out and they do expose some of the information that may be outside of what's in the courtroom, from an entertainment standpoint, it's always a delight. But when it starts to affect the case, I think that goes against the outlines that they had in place, or the structure that they had in place, or the rules that we perceive them to be trying to go by. I even understand that depending on who's asking, it depends on the rules. Yeah, the government is for sale, or the government is single, depending on who asking. You understand me? Like, I see the mandates being lifted in New York. Then I hear it's a baseball thing. I say, see, You know what level of phone call was made? Yeah, so you know there's some information on the other side of that, and the person that's saying all the shit ain't the nigga that gets the call. The face of it is never the source of it, because the face of it can stand killing. The source of it must be protected. But it was just funny that they were speaking on like, yo, how can they bring a documentary out about you while you're alive, bro, and you can't stop it? That's why I'm saying that fair use thing is a motherfucker, man, especially if you got the right lawyers that know how to argue it and they know how to tape it from a standpoint of like, they even use footage that ain't theirs. And depending on who you are, you ask for a check, they'll tell you fuck yourself. And they'll fair use you out. But watching this documentary, and I'm only like 1 or 2 episodes in, again, I just think it's to me, it's one of them documentaries that you be like, yo, this is dope. I'm only 1 or 2 episodes in, but I'm enjoying it. They had a waterbed in there, which took me back, man. Like, I remember my auntie having a waterbed, and there was a view that was supposed to be some kind of sign of luxury back in the day. That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. Do you understand that they'll sell you anything? They had folks sleeping on a waterbed, man. People were buying big elaborate water beds, nigga, that move when they lay down. I mean, you in the bed and you doing some of the most, it's going. You in the bed trying to, how was they fucking on them back then? Water beds, nigga. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If it's packaged right in America, you can sell anything. And everybody think America this big bad wolf and people won't attack us because we some strong army. No, it's because America is the trap. America is the trap house for all these other spaces. Them folks ain't gonna come up with nothing, but boy, you can sell them anything if it's packaged right. I done seen some of the best packaging on some cleaning product. I done said, man, I'm finna grab that cleaning. You know, they effective. They done got this shit down to a T in America. You know, with the cereal boxes and certain things, they done got it down to a T. But when I'm looking at that documentary, I said, man, they done sold us water beds and had us in the ghetto, badly surviving, just for a symbol, almost like the Beans and all these other shits, just a symbol of luxury. We'll go get the water bed. And they had to be some of the worst sleeping known to man. Ain't nowhere in the hell I can sleep moving like that. And all of a sudden it went out, and that shit a bust. Man, you can bust a water bed, man. You know what I'm saying? So now I don't know how they done that, man. That was bad, man. That's why I'm trying to tell people I got to get in. Man, they think I'm finna be on the consumer side of shit, and they selling people shit like water beds. Man, I'm finna get in. I got something for sale. They got me fucked up. And so Magic Johnson didn't want anyone supporting it. I think because his image, and shout out to Magic Johnson, one of the most brilliant minds that we have in regards to businessmen. When we talk about assets over liabilities, shout out EYL, we definitely got to involve Magic Johnson in that conversation when we deal with high level execution. See, everybody want to talk. That's why I'm saying I need to be next to the executors. And so when we look at Magic Johnson, he one of them. And so I think what happened was when Netflix, he didn't want to be portrayed as like having an issue with women, because he already had a big fight with AIDS, right? And then, from lack of a better term, beat AIDS, in my opinion, or I mean, from the looks of it, right? Beat AIDS. So I view him as like had went through that. So he didn't want to be viewed as a womanizer or someone that was chasing women, although there's a lot of stories about him and old Wilt. Or is it Kareem? Nah, it was Wilt. It's a lot of stories about him and old Wilt and how they like women. And so we can agree, man. See, for me, it ain't no shame. It ain't no shame in making a mistake. It ain't no shame in being broke. It's a shame in staying broke. It's a shame in keep making the same mistake. You dig what I'm saying? If being broke is your destination, that's when you ashamed. But if being broke is part of the process, or bootstrapping the company is a part of what needs to happen to head to the next level, these things are just part of what's necessary. So for me, I don't view them as failures. I view them as speed bumps in a long road that's lucrative for me. So I just look at it a different way. See, I know how the story activates other people. So you're looking at me, and I've never been invited into none of the parties with the elites. I'm only dealing with the stories being told by the greats. I'm only dealing with the information being left out by the greats and the tidbits of things that happens when they drop a book here over on this white boy platform. They don't know nobody listening to because they're on their book tour. I got that book. Right? So I'm dealing with the little information that's left out by people. And so look what they got to deal with me. So imagine if someone cutting it all the way down and giving it to them, medicine in the candy. That's effective. I know it activates certain people. And them people are on my side of town. They come from where I come from. And we lack the information to get to the other side of the tunnel. And for me, it's important that I understand, Loon, currently you are in the tunnel. Grab hold of what you can, but keep moving. Don't you get stuck down here because they got you in the club free. And they say your name loud when you come in the club. Don't you get stuck in this part of the game. Don't you fall in love with that bullshit. You got to get to the other side of this. This is about staying power, nigga. It ain't no good to visit an Airbnb, in my opinion. I want the house. I want to live in one of these motherfuckers. It's about staying power for me. The only reason I go on Airbnbs, and my people will tell you, if I go on an Airbnb, it's because I want that kind of house. And if I can't afford it at that time, it's just so I can get the feel of it, manifest it from a real perspective. Manifestation works for some. For others, it's just simply your imagination. But hey, man, if it's just simply your imagination, you ain't one of mine. Because in my opinion, I got to will these things into existence. And so Magic didn't want to be viewed a certain way. You know, I think that we all can agree that women are addictive. To a straight man, a woman is addictive. You just, you know, it make you just look at a woman and say, ooh, look at you, one of my most prized possessions. Gotta be the most beautiful motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. Ain't nothing like you and can't be replaced, can't be duplicated. Girl, look at you, who would? You know, you just, so sometimes for me, and then for straight men, we look at women and say, yo, they really are addictive, bro. It ain't a situation that, in my opinion, that we gotta shun or we gotta act like ain't the thing. I think that sometimes this is back in the day. So I was wondering and thinking to myself, like, is this one of them old fashioned sayings like money only magnifies who you are? Right? So was it his love of women in combination with him getting rich at that time, which then led to his access to women that got him in that situation to get that horrible disease, right? Because it's almost like, I've even seen this in the neighborhood, to take it off Magic and just deal with, again, this isn't about Magic, but the information, just, that's something that we pull from to try to learn from. But even in the hood, I see where there'll be a little lady or a dude that would be on drugs, maybe meth or coke or something like that, and they got a budget or they got a ceiling of money that they can get their hands on in regards to every day they might go sell plasma or blood or something and get 80 a day, but that is about all they gonna work up on. You know, unless she doing some prostituting or something, she gonna get her 80 a day, but some kind of way they gonna get 80 a day. But them same people hit the numbers or hit the lotto, and then they do so much, and then they end up overdosing. You see what I'm saying? So because they had more access to the thing that they didn't have control over, that access caused them to be in a situation where they would indulge without restraint. And you got to be careful with anything that you indulge in without restraint. You know, I love my woman, but I got to have some restraint when I'm dealing with that pussy. I can't lay up and fuck all day. I lay up and fuck all day. The more I do of this, the less I do of everything else. So I got to find a way to, as much as I love to fuck you, I got to find a way to do some other things with my time, or fucking you ain't going to be the same, right? Because you ain't turned on. I always wonder, that's why I was talking about the Kim things. I always wonder, how can you fuck me doing all I'm doing? And then if we don't fuck around them, or you go fuck with somebody that ain't doing nothing that I'm doing, or ain't the kind of guy, the complete opposite, that throws me off. But let's get back to what I was speaking about. And so I think Magic didn't want to be viewed as him having an issue with being able to restrain himself from dealing with different women. But that was new black money. You know, back then they ain't had no access to nothing. You go overindulge. You see what I'm saying? And they even had a scene on there where, and this happens because I've been in this situation on God. They had a scene in this documentary where Magic Johnson was being discussed at a beauty shop. And at this particular beauty shop, these girls were in competition, right, to get with Magic, but there was no hostility. They were in competition, but there was no hostility. You know, one girl will say, yeah, because I think this about him, and it's the best thing. That, you know, he probably done hit up before. Somebody else said, and I got to thinking, like, before women fall in love, when it's just, all right, this is the popping guy, especially back then, to be rich back then. All right, this is the rich guy, and they say he like fucking. And so they all basically were just saying what they felt, and kind of him being the topic of the conversation. But it was interesting to me that there was no hostility. Now, dudes can do that when nobody is actually having sex with the girl, you know. But if there's someone having sex with the girl in that conversation, and then everybody is like, man, yeah, because, man, she come in, I got to sit there, and, man, I'm a man, because I think, man, when I'm going to get in, I'm going to take over the Cabo, and dudes having a different outlook. But women will just be like, all right, well, let the best woman win. I'm going to get at him. And that was very interesting to me. Also saw the old nigga Donald Sterling. And then I got to remember, he was one of the ones that was one of the first people with the cancel culture thing. For those of you unaware who Donald Sterling is the guy that owned the Clippers that was on the phone call about Magic Johnson. See, this documentary ties in the Jerry Buss, Jeannie Buss, all the people, and how they went with Magic instead of going with the guy who everybody thought. They had Bird on there, and Bird and Magic. Like, it's telling you, man, it goes down through that, and it even has racial shit in it. It shows you how, even though you were black and the better player, they would try to find a way to paint it that it'll be ineffective to put so much money and place you in a role in which you were empowered to make decisions on behalf of the team. It just was it shows that, it highlights that. But showed me Donald Sterling. I said he one of the first people that got canceled. See, Donald Sterling was on the phone with his girlfriend. See, the billionaire nigga on the phone with his girlfriend telling her, listen, you keep bringing Magic Johnson around. They say you fucking him. I don't care if you fuck him. I don't care if you kiss him, hug him, and suck his. Just don't bring him to the games. Don't bring the black people to the games. He said some bullshit like that. Don't bring the nigga to the games. He said some bullshit like that. They got him out of here. But this is where you play the corporate game at. Because although we thought they got him out of here from a mass media standpoint, you thought it was effective what they did to him. He only put the team in the name of someone in his family. And I just told you, nigga, I don't got to be there for the job to get done. So it's, again, they always leave a loophole for themselves to get out of things. So it's loopholes in almost everything out there. But I'm going to watch the rest of this. I've been watching Bel Air. Of course, broke down a little bit of that the other week. I like Bel Air. I need some more shows and shit to watch. I'm finding myself trying to relax a little bit instead of going so hard all the time, so we'll figure that out. Let's talk about The Game and 50 Cent. So The Game had ran across Jimmy Iovine at the game, no pun intended. So they were at the Laker game and ran into each other, and Jimmy Iovine literally walked past the game. Now, I'm not going to say that it was because he wasn't paying attention or head down walk through, because sometimes you don't want to be spoke to. So, and it ain't about the game, it's about nobody. I just want to kind of get through here. But everybody rich on that bottom level. Let me just show you guys the video. And this is how 50 Cent got involved in him and Game even started talking crazy to each other. So if you're looking at the screen right now, here's the video of Jimmy Iovine and the Game. So as you see Game walking, Jimmy Iovine seems to be walking past him. I always explain to people that this game is vicious. Like, this ain't one of them kiddie pools. You fucking with the deep end over here. Niggas can make millions off you, man, and you'll never meet them. Niggas can make money with you, man, and they won't let you in the club. This is just like the NFL. We seen where they locked McNair out, man. We done with you. You understand me? McNair put his life on the line, a lot of times about the Titans, but sometimes that's how it goes in the industry. It's unfortunate, but it's reality. And somewhere along the lines, you got to cross them two and figure out which one you want to deal with. You want to cry about it or you want to maneuver around it. So the industry is very parasitic. See, I'm in the industry, but I'm not of the industry, so I can identify some of the things that's happening. And I'm here for a long time. I ain't here to play the little game. I'm here to really, really put the legacy down. Because a lot of people been in the industry so long, they never had to endure pain like me. And pain meaning that you put your all into something and they tell you it's not ready. It's not that. You shouldn't do it. You probably not. It's not going to work. That's pain when you're dealing with a creator. But see, me, I had to shut everything off. The good compliments, the bad, all that shit is shut off. I'm just working. I don't care who say what about it. But I'm in the industry and I'm not of the industry. So my views and my standpoints are extremely different than those of people that have operated in the space for a while. And hearing yes or no is something that all of us have to go through, right? I've heard no a lot. I'm hearing yes now. But I've heard no a lot. But I deal with words and I'm specific with words. So when I said yes or no is something we have to hear, it's different hearing yes or no or being told yes or no. Some of us are hearing it, but we're hearing it because we're the ones that's saying it. So we don't know what it's like on the other side for, the impact of that no. They don't know what that no does to the person on the other side. Hopefully, if you're a creator at heart, it only turns the light on in you and knows that and activates a part of you that they could never take from you because the information go along with the failure. The hijacking of the process mean the car take control and you got to just hope and pray it don't spin out. So you got to be weary of that sometimes. But some people are on the side of giving the yes and on the side of giving the no, right? So they on the side of giving the check, on the side of not giving the check. So they don't know what it's like for that check to mean whether or not we live in a 4-bedroom or whether or not we live in a 2-bedroom apartment. So I'm saying you got creators living in them kind of standards, and that's why I'm saying in that tunnel, you better always stay aware. Do not never, ever play the game. Stay aware. When people ask me, yo, Loon, why you think Jimmy walked past him like that? I just think he doesn't resonate to him in a way that stops him in his tracks. And that's why 50 got involved, because, you know, Game took a shot the other week at 50 about something. You know, he said he liked the Power. I like your episodes. I like what you do with Power. But his shot was at Eminem. And Dre didn't do nothing for him. And Kanye did more for him. And he didn't get on the Super Bowl. So 50 posted something and says, what's this about? And then Game said, last time you went at me, you know, I ended G-Unit. So, you know, 50 one of them dudes, he don't play short game. He play the long game. He a cancer like me. So we play the long game. You got to be careful dealing with us. So 50 came in and said this. LOL, the man look at him. Man didn't even look at him. 50 said this. LOL, the man didn't even look at him. Get this guy out of here, man. 50 wrote the records. And then Game comes back and says to 50, nigga, I ain't even see Mr. Burns. And if you wrote my records, write you one today and put it out, nigga. Your rap career died with them lollipop strap tank tops. You an actor, and that's why you ran the TV. Give us season 2 of that Tommy bullshit and lead the rap shit to niggas who can spell correctly and actually got balls, goofy nigga. He gonna delete this comment. So they going at it. And so it ignites an old beef between Game and 50. And I think Game was, I told y'all, I think he was responsible for hurting the brand. He didn't hurt 50, he hurt the entourage. 50 brand was so sketched in stone that I don't think he hurt 50's brand, but I think he did kind of chip at that entourage in a way that was a little bit effective. I don't know. I don't really want to cover the beef side of it, you know. So after that, let's see what Game said. Then the Game tweets, hit Swiss Beats and Timberland ASAP. Stop running from the verses. Oh, and tell your girl stay out my DM. If she don't want a man overweight, fat as fuck, hanging upside down like a rotisserie chicken at the Super Bowl, come to, he tagged his new album. Leave me alone. I'm binge watching Power. It's the hashtag. Then he put up a DM with Cuban Link, which is supposedly 50 Cent's girl. Well, it is 50 Cent's girl, and it says, video girl, keep me in mind, and has a number. And so she responds to that, says, nah, man, from 2015, when everybody wanted to be a video girl, you irrelevant fucking bozo, you thought you ate with that one. So he put out that old, you know, she said she was at him a long time ago when, you know, being a video girl was a thing, when people were trying to get in contact with dudes like him to get in them videos. And to keep it P, you know, before I even kind of speak on that, to keep it P, nigga, them labels don't give a fuck about Game or 50. They can give a fuck less about Game than they do 50, but they really don't give a fuck about now one of them niggas if we really cooking in the kitchen about it. The industry don't give a fuck about now one of them niggas if we being real. Because the way the contracts and shit set up, it is what it is. Then I got to thinking, do niggas care? You heard Dirk speak. Niggas care about that kind of shit. I don't think something like that hurt her. But to take it off 50 and Cuban Link, do you care what your girl did and who she was entertaining prior to you? You know, do you care if she was willing and ready prior to your motherfucking arrival? You know, how you feel about her being willing and ready prior to your arrival from a standpoint, and now niggas can use that against you to say, man, to get your girl out my DM, man, get your girl, man, your girl was, man, I had your gal, man, your gal would have drove 200 miles, man. You understand me? You know, what do you do for that? What do you do? I think we expect everybody to have a past. I think as long as your past don't affect my present, meaning how I'm feeling, I don't want to be mocked and shit. Nigga don't want to be mocked fucking with nobody and feel like, yo, damn, these folk got me feeling bad. No motherfucking fucking with you. Man, I done went to fucking with you, man. But see, sometimes I told y'all the other day, if she nasty enough, a nigga cut his whole emotional system down. Nigga would shut down his thinking system if she nasty enough. If she thick and nasty enough, boy, shut his mental capacity down. Nigga go offline. Common sense, all that shit offline. All he want to do now is watch that ass and get behind that ass and fuck on her. He don't win. Yeah. So now, man, you got to know, you got to pay attention. But I don't know how I would feel. You know what I'm saying? I think it depends on our bond too. And me and Shorty locked into where I can look nigga her mama in the face and say a nigga can't get her. I know for a fact she on smash. Nigga cannot fuck with her. She's not gonna go. You know what I mean? She ain't gonna go, my nigga. You see? But if it ain't like that, it can get a little slippery. Nigga, the thinking a little bad. Damn, you was in his DM. What was that about? But if we been locked in for a while, we should be able to move around. Nigga, I'm supposed to know, man. Shorty is not going, man. Man, don't post that, man. We know Shorty not going, man. Shorty not finna risk that, man. Come on. Yeah, let's talk about this. Remy Ma. Shout out Remy Ma. She went over to the homie Drink Champs and put some game down, and had a great time and did a 1-2 over there. When I look at Drink Champs right now, I'm studying they lightning. See, lightning is something I don't understand. We got a lot of lightning and we got lights and shit, but it's something I don't get. It's something I don't get, and I'm trying to understand it. So I'm studying a couple of people. Him and B Marshall got that kind of super good lightning. It's like a soft light, but it's regardless. That's teched out. But Drink Champs does a great job with bringing out artists that, and again, they're welcoming to the conversation. And I think as long as we can have that relationship with the people that sit down and the people that they sitting down with, I think that we can always bring content and take it to the next level and control our own narrative. It's important that when we sit with each other that we have an inviting spirit. It's important that when we sit with each other that we're not irritable in the approach of the interview or the person that's trying to get the information, because this is less about them and more about getting it out to the people that look forward to hearing from you. Therefore, I'm just a highway to you getting your message out to the people. I'm just here to let you know, or here to offer some kind of assistance in you getting there. And I think that any interviewer, that's the position you take, and I got to figure out a way to incorporate that in my approach as well. And so I'll get better with time, and that's just part of the game. So Remy went there and she spoke on a list of things. She has a new battle rap thing going. Remy has always been a staple in female hip hop. She's been a staple. Went to jail, kept it gangster. Papoose is her husband. He's, one of them spitters, respected up top. So it's a situation where she has the credibility that most women can obtain, right? Because once you cross over to get the street credibility, you got to do some street shit, and most women ain't really done that. They can talk it good, but when you got to do it and stand on it, see, that's even a 2-step process, because some of y'all are doing it and won't stand on it. But when you do it and stand on it, you go past certain men in regards to what you willing to endure about what you willing to stand up on, what you've done, what you've encountered, right? What you willing to tell the universe that what the universe has for me is mine, good, bad, or indifferent. Some people are not willing to do that. They want to make trade-offs when it's available. They want to cheat the system and things of that nature. So when you see someone be in those kind of situations, you always applaud them. And I've done so with Remy Ma. Let's listen to a little bit of what she said on Drink Champs, and then we'll move forward with some game.
So we established the problem with Joe. We spoke about Sheeta a little bit earlier and its correlation, but we never actually spoke about. Were you and Nicki ever like friends? Did you ever consider her your friend? Did you ever consider her your colleague?
Like friends is such a strong word, but like we had conversations, regular like
when we broke up Kim, you said, I love Kim.
I do. Right. I really do. I don't have that relationship. We never got a chance to get there.
But what happened? Because we see this old footage of you and Nicki, right? Back in the days, y'all sitting there.
Right.
And then we have no idea.
Well, first of all, it's been 5 years. Like literally, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, since Sheeta, when I came out. It seems like more close than that, but it's been 5 years. It's just because people keep bringing it up. It seems closer, but it was 5 years ago. But I never saw that one coming.
You and Nicki?
Because I felt like I had a conversation with her, because I've been in this predicament before where I was the girl just coming in. Even though I had been out before, when I came home, it was like me coming in.
Right.
And I was just like,
we got more wine for you just in case.
I was just like, give me another cup. Oh, so long.
Yeah, we keep cups.
I was like,
we ain't got shit else in here. We got cups.
Yeah, got cups. Wonderful thing.
Continue.
I just always felt like anything I say, people are gonna say I'm talking about her. Anything she say, people gonna say I'm talking about me. So let's make an agreement that we never talking about each other. Like this
is you telling her that?
Yeah, the conversations. It's not even just telling. It's like a conversation, a back and forth.
Right.
And I feel like any woman should. You're supposed to feel like you should. You're supposed to get on a song and be like, yeah, I'm number 2 or I'm number 3. Like, no, you're supposed to talk like you that bitch and you the shit. Just let's never let it get there. And it was just certain shit that transpired behind the scenes, messages that I seen that I know wasn't fabricated. And I was just like nah, like, cause it could take one moment to change somebody's whole career and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen people where after certain shit happened, they're deemed as a specific type where they was never looked at like that before. And I was like, I'm not letting that happen to me. Like, it's just not. It's just gonna happen because that. What was the guy? I can't even think of his fucking name. Messed up Biggie's lyrics and niggas act like he was the worst fucking rapper on the fucking planet. No, not Young though. Right. Like fire. Like I was listening. I was somewhere and they was like playing all his songs. I was like, nah, he really was fire. They was really trying to cancel him because he messed up a lyrics from a fucking artist that's from a whole nother.
So she's speaking on about Nicki Minaj and why her and Nicki Minaj got into it.
You gotta be careful. You say anything, you cancel. I don't know why I'm not. Yeah, because I be saying crazy shit. I don't even be caring. Like,
but you and Nicki, where did it go wrong?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't. Well, I like I said, certain shit from behind the scenes, but what caused the shit, I don't know.
But y'all good? Y'all in a good space now?
Not that I know of.
You're not in a bad space.
I mean, in my opinion, not from my standpoint. Like I said, I'm in a different place in my life. I'm not trying to find nobody. I'm not looking for nobody. Like, I really am like just in a different space. After certain time goes by.
But if you and Nicki's in A&S right now, and I know that store doesn't exist no more. That's the reason.
I'm like, what the hell is A&S? That was my next question. What is A&S?
That was like Macy's before Macy's.
I don't think either of us are going to be at Macy's A&S, but go ahead.
Okay. All right. Damn, that's right. All right. Bergdorf Goodman. Y'all Bergdorf Goodman or what was it?
We'll settle for that.
What's the other shit?
Saks.
Saks. And you walk in, and it's you and Pat, and it's Nicki and Zoo. It's love, right?
I mean, I don't see anybody acting crazy.
Y'all all rich.
Really, no, like I don't see it, but like
we pray for peace.
I've never
in the
been
Middle East,
but she's not saying it's war either.
Not trying to be funny, like I've never been anywhere. Me and Pat, anybody did anything to us, like it's like we're not saying like we're this big gangster, but like we get a certain amount of respect, and we give respect.
Yes,
and I think that's why it's reciprocated. But I don't see like what would be the reason.
The reason
at this point.
Right.
And like I said, I don't take rap beef seriously. I don't really, even in life, I don't have beef with anybody right now. I haven't had beef in a long time. Like, I have beef with like the fucking garbage man when he fucking decides he wants to come at 7 one day, 9 the other day, 12. Like, I have beef with him. Like, I really feel the way about that.
What would a new version of Ladies Night sound like? Megan Thee Stallion, Remy Ma, Nicki Minaj, Doja Cat.
Cardi B. Lotto, City Girls.
Lotto, City Girls.
That should be fire.
Like, y'all could be the new self-destruction.
And let me tell you something. I'm done.
And I mean that for niggas.
And you know, if you understand something right, it's crazy to see where her and Nicki landed and what they could have been together. See, it's always interesting how you play your cards. You're going to be dealt a hell of a hand. You're going to be dealt a hand that, well, man, damn, this 10 going to walk this time. You understand me? And you also going to be dealt the hand where the king ain't no good this hand. You dig what I'm saying? So you got to know what you want to do. But she's speaking about navigating outside of the beef with Nicki Minaj that they had and where they are now, and she really can't speak to it because there's no communication.
Enough money out here. It's enough space for everybody to be who they are. But I feel like a lot of times the fans do that. A lot of times just the label in itself, the way they were trying to project you as an artist. We don't want to mess you with this artist just yet, unless we feel like it's beneficial. So
that's crazy that we even say don't mess you with this artist.
Yeah, like, yo, shit is crazy. This shit is stupid. Like, but I just did a record recently. I took all the girls that was on my rap league and I had them all do 8 bars and put it together. I'm gonna let you hear before I leave. Shit sounds so crazy. It's literally 8 girls. So
if you haven't saw that interview, you know, go check that out. We're gonna speak about this last topic and we'll get out of here for this episode. A young 14-year-old boy fell off a ride at an amusement park. Let's listen to what happened. 14-year-old Tyrese Sampson of St. Louis, Missouri, fell from an Orlando freefall ride, described by its operators as the world's largest freestanding drop tower. The Orange County Sheriff Office said. First, I want to start saying RIP to that young man. I think it's unfortunate that he lost his life in such a way, being so young, so vulnerable, and so afraid. It scares me because I got children and I understand, man, that like I got to install certain things into them, man. Let's take a look a little bit at a news coverage video clip about what happened that night, and we'll come back with some game.
Right now at 6, an amusement ride gone wrong.
Nothing in the world could replace that young man.
The painful cries from the father of the 14-year-old boy who fell to his death on an Orlando ride last night, and the lingering questions about how it happened. The Orlando freefall ride at Icon Park remains closed as investigators try to figure out how this all happened. Good evening, I'm Vanessa Eccles.
And I'm Martha Sigalski. This is just a horrific story. That ride officially opened just a few months ago. This is video of the scene. Today, you can see those inspectors assessing the seat, which is believed to be the seat that 14-year-old boy was in. Also tonight, we do have live team coverage on this tragedy. Channel 9 investigative reporter Christopher Heath is digging into how often this ride gets inspected and looking at those inspection reports. But we begin tonight with Channel 9 Shannon Butler, who's been working all day to find out just how this happened. Shannon, the Orange County Sheriff says this appears to be just a tragic accident.
Well, he does, and witnesses that were here last night told me they watched the ride go up and it didn't seem like anything was wrong. They said it went up to the top, it came back down, came to that stop like it always does. That's when they say that the 14-year-old came underneath one of those blue harnesses and fell to the ground. Dispatchers tried to get people to give him CPR, but those callers to 911 said it was too late. Gary Winthrop was at Icon Park last night watching the free fall ride.
The ride goes up and it goes up and we're kind of watching it. Next thing you know, it starts coming down. We're like, CPR. Oh, and everybody's screaming, normal, ride type of thing.
But he never thought he would see what happened next.
It comes down, I guess it halted on the brakes, because, it comes kind of closer, and then he slides right out.
14-year-old Tyrese Sampson was on the ride around 11 o'clock last night when he fell to his death. People called 911 trying to help him.
The thing went down the drop, and when they got closer to the bottom, when it hit the brakes, the guy fell right out of the seat and bam, straight through the chair.
The sheriff's office said that he was here from Missouri with another family on vacation. Today, investigators were out measuring the seat he was riding in as they worked to try to figure out what went wrong. Today, the sheriff's office says early findings show that this was just a tragic accident, but it is still unclear how and why Sampson was thrown from the ride. The sheriff said that workers that were interviewed did not see anything wrong before the ride went up, and you can hear the workers after the fall saying that those checks were done.
You guys are sure you checked it? Yeah.
Now, right now, you can see this ride is shut down as investigators continue to try to figure out what went wrong here. It is unclear when this ride will reopen. As for the family, they say he was here on spring break. He is a fierce football player, they said, and a good student. They are devastated by what's happened here. We are live in Orlando. Shannon Butler, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
And new this hour, we are hearing from that heartbroken father of the 14-year-old killed. He says when he heard what happened, it knocked the wind out of him.
Sorry is not going to take it back. And no monies, no nothing in the world could replace that young man. And it's just sad. It's sad. A young man, bright future, been taken away from him, and over a ride or amusement park.
That father says the pain he's feeling is never going to go away.
The company behind the Orlando Freefall at Icon Park says it's the tallest freestanding drop tower in the world at 430 feet tall. It can hold 30 riders at once. When they get to the top of the tower, riders are tilted forward 30 degrees toward the ground. Then they free fall nearly 400 feet, reaching speeds of 75 miles per hour. Now take a look at this. This is video from the day the ride opened. This was in late December. You can see employees there were going around.
So to keep in context, the ride has only been out since December.
Before they were hoisted into the air. Rides like this are subjected to inspections by the State Department of Agriculture. They're required to have a certificate of insurance and an annual affidavit of compliance and testing performed by a professional engineer or qualified inspector.
Watch, they say they had all.
And that ride would have had to been inspected before it opened in December, but since it's only been open for a few months, it wasn't yet due for any re-inspections. Channel 9 investigative reporter Christopher Heath obtained the U.S. and international patents for the ride and continues our team coverage with more details about the attraction.
The thing we are looking for is information about the seats. In the United States, there are 3 of these large 400-foot drop towers, 2 built by a
just
company out of
giving y'all some game on what it's supposed to be and the standards
to the seat.
that should have been complied by.
Company, and it has no such belt. The ride that claimed a teen's life in Orlando had only been in operation for a few months. The state was required to inspect it before opening. Today, crews were inspecting the ride again, testing the seats. You can see here men walking from chair to chair, checking the shoulder restraints. State law requires daily inspections, which spokesman John Stein says the company was doing.
We work with the Florida Department of Agriculture. They do their inspections. We do a daily inspection on our rides before we open.
In documents released to Eyewitness News from the Florida Department of Agriculture, you can see here the ride was inspected on Monday, December the 20th. That's less than 4 months ago. It passed with state inspection specialist Mark Gonzalez signing off on the ride. As for the ride itself, the manufacturer is a company called Funtime. The Austrian company has a series of U.S. and international patents for the ride. Most that we found deal with the tower, with just one mention of seats or harnesses, but no specifics. As for how the harness failed, or if it was never secured properly in the first place, that will be determined by a series of inspections across several levels of the government.
It is ongoing, and we are working with Orange County Sheriff's Office as well as other agencies that have yet to be engaged but will be engaged.
Christopher Heath, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
This young man's tragic death has drawn attention from all over, and the rides being closed at Icon Park also, that has people talking as well. Channel 9's Nick Papantonis continues our live team coverage at Icon Park. And Nick, people weren't necessarily there to see it, but everyone you've talked with has been affected in some way.
Yeah, there's been a steady stream of people here at Icon Park looking up toward the sky, trying to picture their friends or family members or children even riding this ride in that teenager's place.
Thrown from a ride at Icon Park, being remembered as a gentle giant who loved football.
He was an honor roll student. The young man had a bright future.
New tonight, a focus on safety. Video shows concerned riders questioning protocol.
Why does it have like the little click twist, like the seatbelt? Yeah.
Fox 35 investigates how this could happen.
So here's what we know so far. Orange County deputies say that Tyree Sampson fell from the Orlando freefall just after 11 o'clock last night.
So it's unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate the young man lost his life that way. I was seeing videos online, and I don't know if they're true or not. So I want to remove them from the young man that lost his life at the hands of that ride. And I just want to speak to the overall circumstances surrounding our young men, as I have children that have to navigate this world under the pressure that I can identify young men being under. This young man, from what videos I saw, people are saying that he was kind of questioning if he was gonna be good in here, and this ride ain't feeling okay, or it ain't strapped like, bro, y'all sure is? And all I can think about is, Loon, bro, you gotta install in your children the ability to identify when to be a disruptor, right? At that moment, like, if this don't feel right, my man, whoa, hey. I don't give a fuck if it's finna start. Nigga, this don't feel like it's on right. Say. Nigga, everybody right here, nigga, they can have the president next to me. I got so sometimes it's like, man, you can't just be quiet for the sake. You got to say something. Know what I'm saying? I got to install in my kids. You got to be a disruptor sometimes, man. Like, well, when it come to things like that, I just pray to God that y'all don't sit there for the sake of just hoping on a miracle. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you feel like, this may not be safe, say something to them people. Hey, mine didn't click. Hey, my shit didn't click. Know what I'm saying? They might come over there where it don't click. Man, what you mean it don't click? How this don't click? Man, I ain't riding this shit. It don't click. How? And if that's how I feel, I get up and get off, regardless of what everybody say. But when you a kid like that, you ain't gonna you gonna go on up just on the hope of it. And you done probably seen people get on it, get off it, right in front of you if you been at the park all day. Man, shit just, that's next level. But I think, like I say, man, I just hope, because I know me, I'm going to say something. Hey, something burning. Like, I ain't going to wait because everybody in here think they cool. You understand me? Everybody, nigga, if the boat say 80 people can be on the yacht, nigga, and I look around and it look like 150, nigga, I'm finna say something. Hey, y'all know it's supposed to be 8 on here, just so everybody aware that this motherfucker might go under. But I ain't gonna just be quiet and be like, somebody know it's supposed to be 80. Nah, I got to say something, man. I hate that for that young man. That young man he was a bigger boy. That's why, man, like, I don't know, son. I don't ride shit like it. I don't pay people to scare me. I don't watch scary movies. I don't do all that. I don't even invite them kind of spirits into my situation. See, because I'm way more serious than a lot of y'all. Y'all can turn that kind of shit on and off. I've been done started living like Batman. I've been done started coming out the house talking low. You know what I'm saying? So now I can't just keep indulging in all that old, that's why I got to watch powerful people and shit. And you know what I'm saying? I got to always engage in those things because, hey, man, I'm one of them. Whatever I'm on, I'm on. You see what I'm saying? And so I got to make sure I'm always staying on something that's elevation involved. But I hate to see that young man go out like that, man. Like I say, man, we send our prayers to his family. You know, from It's Up There podcast, we send our prayers and condolences to his family. I think that I would just wish, man, and I'm gonna tell my children too, man. Like, I don't care who get offended. If you feel spooked, say something. Nigga, self-preservation gotta kick in. You feel what I'm saying? If you think it supposed to click and it don't got no click, that was my deal breaker. Cause in my mind, for me to feel safe, I'm supposed to hear the click. And you told me it don't click, I don't feel safe, man. So I'm off it. What I'm getting by doing this, man, I'm going up in the air now. Man, no. You feel me? So now, man. So now. You know what I'm saying? Nah, y'all ain't gonna man. Know what I'm saying? 14 years old going through that. So, man, it's just unfortunate for that young man. You know, so, you know, it's been another episode of the fastest growing podcast in the world right now. If you made it to this part, I want to thank you. For video, you head over to Pateron.com. It's Up There Podcast. That's where you're going to find the full video every Monday. If you want to see clips, you go to FOGFO TV on YouTube. You'll see clips of it, and episodes will drop like 4 weeks behind or something like that, just so people can actually get them. We got new merch out, man. Go get that merch, man. Tap in with that merch. Only the real survive, you know what I'm saying? And so the first line is the feds didn't get mine. We got the It's Up There podcast. That's part of the It's Up There podcast season 1. You know, and we got I'm dealing with information. You know what I'm saying? So go get you some of them shirts, man, and show people what you fucking with and who you fucking with, because we here to stay for shit show. But It's Up There podcast, man. We appreciate everybody that's locked in with us, man. It's always a pleasure. The biggest.